Every fighter dreams of hearing the words "and new," and for tonight's #1 contender for the Xbox champion, the Moffat Man dreams of hearing these words. But in order to hear the statement he's longed for since the beginning of the Primetime's inception, he must walk through the fires of hell, engulf himself in flames, and make it to the other side. He must go head to head with the current reigning defending champion, the phenomenon, EK Trixie. A man who's become the wrecking ball, the ace in the hand since returning to the Xbox division, has fell a trail of murder murder row in his path. A man so well diverse he crumbles the competition with his devastating wrestling and quick combinations. Two fighters will enter the octagon. One will earn the right to call himself the champion. The other will be sent home without gold. Tonight's co-main event will showcase two fighters on the brink of glory. FSK Fadinator, the former champion. A man so devastating it takes an elite fighter of that caliber to challenge him. Insert Jakey, a fighter who's shown that the heart can prevail, that believing yourself can take you to great heights. These four men will put it all on the line tonight. Can Trixie retain the championship, or is it going to be the dawning of a new era? Can Fadinator put himself into title contention, or can Jakey pull up the upset and show Primetime what it means to be the heart of the octagon? Welcome to Primetime MMA 45.
Welcome to Primetime MMA 45. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, if that didn't get you hyped, I don't know what will. We have an absolute hell of a show here tonight, and what a great job Doctor just did right there. Doctor, we've got a fantastic card in front of us. We've got an incredible main event. What do you make of this?
This card is stacked. A very interesting main event with Trixie versus Moffat Man. Just a quick notation, and to give credit where credit is due, Reaper, who will be joining us later on the booth, wrote that introduction, and all the respect to the man for doing so. As you know, we've got the main event of Trixie and Moffat Man, co-mainer Jakey versus Fadinator. But without further ado, let's go on to the rest of the card here.
Ooh. Yeah, it's a banger of a card. We have had some changes with 18 fights on the card. Of course, we've had some changes. We do have Jakey B versus Fadinator. You did just mention that right there. We've got Stoyan versus Andy Ray. Another fantastic, absolute banger of a fight on the PlayStation side. Noggin versus Haroon. Myself, I will be fighting Ned. It's been a change in opponent, but Ned's a top-ranked guy. Looking forward to that one. I haven't mixed it up with him yet, so we're about 30 miles from each other as well, I believe, so it's going to be an interesting fight. Wobbsy, Toasty, B, Purple, Ricardo. It just keeps going. We've got Dirty Dave versus Karts to headline the prelims. It's absolutely insane. What a card we have for the public tonight. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a fun card. Ricardo versus Rara, a very interesting fight. Dave's new opponent, the cards are not correct on the graphic, but sometimes that's the way it goes. Like, replacements are the way it does. Slick versus Killer Jake. We've seen Killer Jake trying to use time. Slick's making his return somewhat. He's a grappler gone striker after training with the likes of EK Spider. Keza versus Comp, a new addition as well. That's a fantastic fight in the heart. Skilch versus Hayes. Again, that's a striking masterpiece. From top to bottom, this card is on and golden. But without further ado, we do have Aaron versus Hummer to begin us off, but sadly Hummer could not make it, couldn't make weight, and so instead we have Mr. FSK Tadpole.
Yeah, it's slightly bittersweet for me because obviously last week or the week before, Aaron and Hummer fought, and I believe Hummer was winning that fight, and then his controller died, which Aaron had every right to do this, but he beat him up and knocked him out when his controller died. And you know, Aaron tonight is coming back. He's gone back to his roots, as he said to me earlier on. His full family's watching from his living room, so shout out to Aaron's family who are watching from in the front room. But that's got to make you think, Doctor, there's got to be some extra pressure there when you're fighting in front of your family, when people are watching you and your mum's cheering you on, you know, and then you're fighting someone like Tadpole. Tadpole does not mess about in the octagon. He tries to take your head off at every opportunity, and fighting him live on a PT event is different from fighting him in ranked. This is a tough test for Aaron right now.
I do agree. Fighting someone in rank compared to a league fight is completely different. The nerves aren't setting. It doesn't matter the setting. The nerves are always different. Tadpole was used to these. Aaron only about 3 fights deep into his fighting career within Primetime, so it's going to be an interesting case. His most recent win being Hummer on a bit of a delicate note. It did seem like Hummer was winning, but we continue starting off very nicely here, and both of them looking to exchange already.
And I always see this with Aaron. He comes out, he does a really good job at the start of the fight. It's whether the consistency can remain there throughout the rounds. And we've got a Justin Poirier and Conor McGregor matchup to start us off on the card. We're probably going to say this a few times tonight, Doc. But these two are swinging and both pack power in their punches.
Knee already lands, getting that head held very low on Aaron's side. A lovely few side steps there by Tad. It's going to give Aaron a bit of grief, especially with how he wants to use that jab, get it established early, means you have the range. But if your opponent's sidestepping that humble, it's going to give you a couple of issues.
Yeah, it's definitely going to give you a couple of issues. You can also counter that, though, with hooks. You can hook your opponent or even body kicks, These guys are kind of in a feeling out process at the moment, especially Tad. We all know Tad is going to try and get that range, make sure he can land his shots and then start to unload when he feels he's made the reads on his opponent. Aaron doing a very good job so far, though. 2 minutes into the fight, and I believe Aaron's kind of controlled where the fight's going to be and landed some of the better shots and mixed it up really well, Doc.
Indeed, he has. He has kind of controlled the fight. You see now Tab putting on his pressure just a bit. He's staying fairly patient, I feel like. He's not wanting to engage, not wanting to overextend. He's like waiting for Aaron to make a big stake. It like he knows it, per se. It's an interesting fiasco to be in. Just you want to put the pressure on, but you want to not overextend because maybe you just risk yourself getting hurt, Humble.
Well, it's fighting 101. He's not staying in the pocket. Every time he engages, it's at his terms, and then Tad goes to reset. And when you can see Tad reset, Aaron's out of danger. He gets out of there, he cuts the corner and cuts the angle. And that's kind of key to any sort of sport in martial arts. You've got to get out of there. You see Lomachenko do it. Floyd Mayweather was a master at it. In MMA, you see people like Yair Rodriguez, Max Holloway constantly do it. So you've got to get out of that centre line. You've got to kind of move off that centre line and not let your opponent kind of square you up to land a combination. And Tad needs to start cutting him off, in my opinion. Tad's not woke up yet, in my opinion, Doc, and he needs to.
Yeah, Tad may not have woken up, but it's only the first round. You've got another 2 rounds to work. Neither of them are that hurt. The leg health of McGregor, maybe a few issues. Lovely combination by Aaron. It's definite attempt. Tad's woke up there, putting on this pressure. All of a sudden, ding down that body. Doesn't get uppercutted, though. Luckily, Lee elbow there gets fired.
It should have landed. But Tad, exactly what I was talking about. He made one adjustment, and that is to cut the lead foot off. You can watch Tad's footwork at the moment. He's starting to step to the outside of Dustin Poirier's foot, and that sets him up for a shot down the middle, a lead hook. There's a load of different shots, and that's what he caught him with right there. But he's got to be careful he doesn't get caught because he took a bit of damage early in that first round, and Aaron's doing a good job of kind of attacking the stamina. But Aaron as well needs to mind his P's and Q's. Won't be the first time we say that tonight, as he gets clipped a few times early in this round. But Tad has got to be feeling good now, Doc.
Oh, nearly gets clipped there. The body kick at the very end, being very close in the pocket. Tad's definitely got the better of that round in tow. He got the stun, he got the aggression, and that's put Aaron on the back foot. However, both of them have peppered each other across the body, legs, and in Aaron's case, the leg as well. So maybe if Aaron goes to that early on within the next round, he can reduce that pressure and start trading. Didn't get to see that much of a quick peek at the scorecards, though, sadly.
Well, I remember the rock coming from Tadpole. That's kind of the first half of that round I do give to Aaron, but the Tadpole kind of made those adjustments to start changing it up. And you can see the body and head health are both quite similar, including the stamina as well. It's a pick and fight at the moment, in my opinion, but the momentum is swinging in Tad's favour. Aaron's got to kind of keep that consistency, as we talked about in the first round, and kind of see out the round and make sure he's winning. Can't stay in front of Tad. It's simple as that, Doc.
Yeah, no, he really can't stay in front of Tad. Tad knows his shots. He knows he's a striker at heart, and that shows here. Like, you can just see how patient he is. He doesn't want to overextend unless he knows he's going to be able to win the trade. You see that straight clipping through. Lead hooks there. Narrowly dodges the uppercut, ducks under the lead hook, and then he's just happy to be in place, although that rear hook clips him.
Good job from Tad from ducking that one there. And Aaron's now on the front foot. He needs to start using his jab, though. He's let his opponent off. He gave him space. Slight error there, from my opinion. Doc just kind of backing up, hesitant of kind of taking the lead there on his opponent. It'd be a good thing, I don't know. But for me, when you have your opponent hurt, you've got to kind of make them react. You've got to make them reactive rather than being proactive. And that's kind of what Aaron didn't do in that position. And maybe that'll bite him in the arse later in the fight.
Well, the uppercut definitely landed him there. Tad's also just taunted, evidently wanting to showcase who's the better fighter. Narrowly avoids the uppercut there. Uppercut seems to be the main avoidance technique from both opponents. 2 minutes 40 left on the clock. Aaron has had a couple of good moments, but so far it seems like Tad is the better fighter. That uppercut taunt.
Oh, he's taunted him. He's taunted him.
Oh, that was a bit scary.
His taunt went up for a slightly too wrong. And Aaron's got him. Can Aaron finish him? He's going to try and go after him this time, surely. Just misses his last shot. His shot selection was just slightly off there. This is a great fight so far to open off the primetime card, Doc. Back and forth action, non-stop. And both guys are having some showmanship now. Who is going to win this one, Doctor?
I'm a bit worried that Tad's going to walk into a shot if he's not careful, though. A minute 50 on the clock in round 2. I would give this round to Tad. We've known how quickly fights change. As you mentioned, it always seems to be a round 2 KO a lot of the time, and we may be seeing that here, especially with how low both of their head health is.
Yeah, but you wouldn't believe how many round 2 KOs, but he catches him with the right hook. Right there, and it's a lead hook that he caught him with again. Tad made that adjustment of cutting the cage off, and Aaron keeps walking into it. Aaron needs to be careful right now as he gets dropped, and Tad's still on his feet. He's going to try and get him against the fence where he's got nowhere to go, and Aaron managed to slime his way out of that one. Again, this is a close one so far. Tad still needs to be careful, Doc, because Aaron's still got a big shot in his pocket.
The straight of McGregor landing cleanly, getting the KO. That is what you want. You saw it earlier within that round 2. You saw every time Poirier engaged, in fact, that he got clipped by that strike, and it just kept stunning him. And evidently, that 5-star Celtic cross was the way to put a Poirier out.
Yeah, definitely. Like, both guys were trying their best to kind of, catch each other coming in. I think Tad had to make some adjustments in that fight. He didn't start the quickest in this one, Doctor, but he certainly finished his opponent with menace in that. I think it was the 3rd round. I'm not sure.
No, second round. We was just coming to the end of the second, I believe.
Fair enough. Great fight for Tad and stepping in on short notice. And Aaron can be proud of himself. I think he's made some improvements, but he just needs to kind of keep that consistency that he started off with in that first round, because he started off well, kind of keeping out of the cutting the angle when he was firing and firing at his own terms. But then he started getting pushed behind that black line, Doctor, and we all know what happens when you get close to that fence and you're against somebody with the caliber of Tadpole.
It's always that black line. If you don't manage to stay ahead of it, you're gonna have issues. And we are in the lightweight division for the next fight. Should be a fun one, but looks like we're going to end up with 2 McGregor picks. Skilch and Hayes going at it, both of them strikers. We've seen Hayes before. I want to say he fought FSK Comp and came out and looked super clean. Just Comp couldn't land any shot on him, and that's an impressive style for Comp especially.
Yeah, these guys have been around for a while, but the Skitch is like one of my favorite competitors to watch. He always constantly trying to entertain, and he's got a fantastic McGregor, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how he plays. He plays a lot similar to the likes of the Young Paws, the Ed Parkers. Not as well known as that, but he's one of the best French players in the world at 100%. And then you've got Hayes as well, Hayes is a fantastic competitor, like you said. This is going to be a banger of a matchup. Hayes, I believe, is coming off a loss to Lepo, I believe. But yeah, these guys are going to put a show on. They always do, and I'm looking forward to seeing who comes out with this one.
Well, by looks of the scorecards, the record gives it 1 to PRL1 Hayes, who's got the GT of Cub Swanson. Interesting timeline, and you'll always appreciate that. 2 McGregor picks, though, here. We see McGregor taunting in retaliation, saying to come here. Dan Mogliotta as the ref, and we are off to a good start, I'd imagine.
Every time we've seen Skitch fight, we've seen some fantastic combinations, stuff that you're not used to seeing in prime time, and some combinations mixed in with head movement as well in between that, kind of predicting your opponent's pattern. The kind of Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez type of style. So I'll be interested to see if he can keep that up against Hayes in this one.
Well, both of them starting with a tactical matchup. A couple of shots being missed. A leg kick got thrown in either way. Up at that there. Hook to the body seems to be working very much. I'm just digging down to that body constantly. It does with the leg kick. Leg retaliation doesn't get it. The lead hook and a hook kick follows Humble.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of filling out processes again. Just both guys are trying to kind of find the range, find the combinations of the other opponent, and can make some reads here and there. I'm liking the movement at the moment from Hayes. He's not stood still 1 second in this fight. He's kind of made sure he's constantly on the move, so Skitch can't kind of plan when he's going to come forward and throw his combinations. And I think that's what he's gonna kind of do as he sets up a nice combination right there. And Skitch gets put against the fence. He's got to be careful, though, Skitch, because he's getting caught then. You don't want to get caught there against Connor. Beautiful work from Hayes to kind of put his opponent there. Beautiful body shot from Skitch. This is a back and forth one so far, Doc.
It's a very, very beautiful and technical fight here. Both of them using McGregor in such a way. They know his power, they know his movement, they know him to play aggressive. Skitch there coming with 3 pieces of mentalness. Hayes returning just... Both of them are just looking to return in multiple ways.
Damn.
So clean.
It's nice when it just flows lovely. That's what I like to see sometimes, and that's what Skitch kind of brings. And I think, he's one of them type of players. He doesn't mind if he loses as long as he puts on a beautiful striking clinic. That's what he's here for. So beautiful work so far. But I am enjoying what Hayes is doing. He's kind of using Connor how he should be used. But Skitch so far, he's dangerous. He remains dangerous. He just has to be careful of getting caught with a pull or a kind of, trying to zig when he's supposed to zag. And he does that sometimes. He does get caught when he's supposed to do too much of those shots.
He really does. I'm just mesmerised by the way Skitch is playing on his back foot, but he's coming forward. That's an indication of being a KM member, I feel like, is being able to fight on the back foot, but make it seem like you're fighting on the front foot. It works so well. Hayes having a difficult answer. He's just walking into a lot of shots. He's getting his damage back, though. The head health still fairly low, but just seems like every shot Skitch is landing better and cleaner.
I disagree, but there we go. I disagree, and then he lands a massive shot. I was about to say Hayes seemed to have his health down, and the backing up was doing a fantastic job. But this is such an even matchup so far. I'm liking how both got to play. He gets dropped, he sidesteps his shot, and I thought Skitch would have made that read earlier, because Swanson, as I said, he was non-stop moving and sidestepping constantly. Beautiful work from Hayes right now, and Skitch has got to be careful as Hayes comes forward and tries to hurt his opponent again, Doctor.
Yeah, with that being said, we call close to round 1. Maybe we'll most likely see a round 2 KO, I'm willing to bet here. Hayes just about winning the round back, that knockdown securing it. Both of them stayed fairly close. I think we saw about 30 significant strikes on either side. Both of them are just wanting to stand and grow.
I think Skitch has kind of got to keep himself off the fence, because he's having his best work when he's here, when he's in the centre of the octagon, but he's dictating the kind of range. And Hayes is doing a great job when he gets Skitch behind that black line and he kind of pushes him into a shot or pushes him into a certain direction that he's kind of throwing in, and that's when he can load up. So for me, Skitch has got to constantly keep circling, get himself back to the centre of the octagon and not let Hayes put him back. But we'll see how these guys approach it, because it's been a technical war so far, Doctor.
Technical war indeed. Both of them, it seems mainly that you have this very different style. So you have Hayes, who wants to be this technical pressure fighter. On the other hand, Skitch is purely happy to be a pressure fighter, a technical fighter, taking the fight wherever it goes. And that leg and Hayes is a scary position. It's kind of like Skitch has just got a shotgun and scattered his entire body with shots.
I'm absolutely loving this fight so far. I know it's Connor versus Connor. We've seen it numerous times, but it's just the way these guys are kind of using the characters and the combinations they're throwing, their footwork, the technique. Just a beautiful fight. For the second fight, it's crazy the level of competition we're getting in prime time. So early on in the cards as well. These guys are top level, and you can tell with the way they're kind of using their characters and throwing the shot at the moment.
Well, with both these fighters, it should really be of note that no matter the fighters, each individual mirror match can be different. These two McGregors evidently a showcase to how we've seen the previous McGregor in the Aaron versus Hummer fight, Amma versus Tadpole fight, sorry, and now we dig down to that body looking to make any type of combinations land. The head movement of Skitch is also playing a big factor in this part, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to see him kind of go back to the basics sometimes as well, because Skitch has such good combinations that sometimes they get him into trouble. He knows how beautiful they look when he throws them, but it's kind of throwing them at the right times as well, and making sure that you're not getting caught on a counter, because Hayes is just looking for a big shot. You can kind of tell now he's headhunting for something, and Skitch has done a great job of attacking the body low, making some movements, and also avoiding the shots with the head movement. It's been a great performance so far from Skitch this round.
Well, I think what really dignified the way Skilch does is just his ability to always make sure if he's going to attack one part of the body, he's got another assault incoming if your opponent comes out. You've seen with that leg kick into that straight, just worked so cleanly. Like he threw that lead leg kick, and then as soon as the opponent came forward, he threw that straight. It's just making sure to read your opponent and when they're going to come in. And Hayes, as a pressure fighter, needs to make those reads, otherwise he's going to have issues. Like head health is low, but his entire body is low.
Yeah, he's going to lose some of that power as well in the hands. Doesn't really matter with Connor because he's still got ridiculous power. But Skitch has got to be careful because he likes to feint. And when you're feinting with this amount of stamina, it can get you in trouble when you're essentially, loading up for a big shot. So he's got to keep it kind of simple and not kind of lose his stamina. Beautiful little work there. Catches him with a check left hook, or a check right hook, and then, sorry, it was a check left hook, I believe, lead hook, yeah. And great fight so far, Doctor. Absolutely fantastic. You can't read any of that, Skitch. Man, let's go. He's just got his supporters as well. His supporters are in the chat, Doctor. Loving this fight.
Oh, we always love the supporters coming out to watch these fights. Always fun. Hayes comes back.
The Conor McGregor head movement. Head movement. Oh, he catches him. He goes back, and Skitch is going forward now. Can he take his opponent out? He's looking for a reaction and goes to the body from Skitch, Doctor.
Well, maybe this is shown. That was a beautiful combo. I didn't realize that existed. Head kick clips in, doesn't get a stun. Front kick does. Digs down to that body again. Head kick up top. Any type of shot. The uppercut knocks him down, and Skilch is jumping.
Oh, he's going to finish his opponent.
And he gets the finish.
Oh, beautiful fight.
What a fantastic 4 seconds fight. Into the third round, evidently wanting to finish at the end of the second, but Hayes opened up that defense a bit lackluster, and Skilch managed to find a home for his shots.
Wow, just a big great so far. I know we're getting joined later on, by the one and only Reaper. But he'll be good to miss these fights at the moment. I know he's at work at the moment, but he'd be good to miss these fights because these have been fantastic. And they only get better, Doc. That's the crazy thing.
Oh, yeah, they only get better. Can we point out the main event is Trixie versus Moffat Man? If that's the state of the first fight, I can't wait to see Fadner in the co-main Trixie. We got Haroon, for God's sake. We've seen him so many times in the past. He's come out and put on like 4 or 5-piece combos. His most recent fight against Toasty Toes. I'm looking forward to that fight. The entire card is an interesting time, and that's only the second fight.
Yeah, prelims as well. You got the headline of the prelims was Dirty Dave versus Carter. Both their opponents didn't show, so we matched them together. That's number 15 versus number 7, I believe. You got a 5-3 record versus a 4-1. Just a fantastic. Both of them really good grapplers in their own right as well. And Carter's a fantastic striker as well as Dirty Dave. The amount of work he's put into the community. But the next fight we have is going to be TMF Jake Paul versus Bucko. Doctor, let's get this one underway if they're ready.
Yeah, TMF versus Bucko's an interesting time. Bucko, an interesting character. Jake Paul, an interesting character. The fighter as a part of TMF is also an interesting character. He's got excellent boxing. Going to be in the bantamweight division and should be a very interesting time to say the least, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. I like the low weight classes sometimes, but you get a lot of these sort of picks as well. The Rob Font versus Peter Yan picks. I want to see some Sean O'Malley's, and I want to see some, some interesting ones. But I do like the technical matchup. I feel like Rob Font kind of counters Peter Yan everywhere he can supposed to. But the Bulldog perk is always a difficult one to kind of get past. And Jake Paul's been on a bit of a roll at the moment, Doctor. I believe he's 4-2. He's just pushed into the top 15.
The perk, just to correct you, that I believe the perk you are mentioning is force in nature, with the fact that if your head health is lower, you get a bit of a buff, and that's Peter Yan's main perk. It makes him such an incredible fight to deal with. However, we've seen this matchup countless times before. I feel like Rob Font is a meta pick within this division against Yan if you're confident in the feat, and it seems like so. Bucko's coming out. We're already peppering the distance, although Jake Paul's coming out and firing back already. Body kick there as he major lunges it, side kick back, and it's a fight to start with, Humble.
No problem. Yeah, it's a great start so far, but you can kind of no feeling out process from any of these guys. He catches him with a head kick and goes with another one. Doesn't get a joke from Bucko, but now you've got to be wary of those sort of combinations. Great work so far from Jake Paul. I'm really liking how he's kind of coming off the centre line with his head movement at the moment, Doctor.
Yeah, I think maybe the fight of the night with the head movement. Last night in the fight night, it was night of the overhand. It may be the night of the head movement tonight. 3 minutes 30 left on the clock. Jake Paul playing the aggressor, but Bucko doesn't care about being stuck against the cage. If his opponent wants to get in his face, he's going to fire a 4-piece, 5-piece combo straight back in his face.
Nice work so far. The circling off. Bucko's got to be careful. Jake Paul seems to be very comfortable in this fight so far. He's doing a great job of every time he gets pushed back, he's circling off and then kind of countering his opponent, and he's using the correct shots in the correct positions to kind of make sure his opponent walks into them. Nice work right there from Jake Paul with a 2-piece. Goes to the body, just misses, and Bucko's just coming short with his range at the moment, Doctor.
Both of them seem to be having a feeling out process whilst playing like wild men, I feel like. We got Yan here playing the steady game. He's keeping most of his stam. His head health is going quite low. On the other hand, you see Jake Paul firing back at him, but Bucko's stam is slowly going down quicker and quicker as he throws that 4-piece. If he wants to make it anywhere decent with his cardio coming to the end of this round, into the second, he's going to need to slow down his pace.
Nice work. Knee to the head right there. Goes to the body again and comes back to the head. Great work. Goes back to the body. Oh, catches the kick. Goes to the head. I don't know if he blocked that, but it was a nice shot. These guys are firing back. I'm not liking the stamina so far from Bucko. If you keep that up into the second round, you're going to have a difficult time, especially against Jake Paul. He keeps circling. Doesn't want to put his back against that cage, Doctor. He's trying his best to keep off that fence.
He's trying his best to keep all the fence, firing back very quickly. Uppercut there does land, ducks under, spin elbow attempt, a minute left on the clock. Gets that leg kick, check that straight, narrowly avoided with the head movement, and both of them are just happy to go back at it again.
Nice work right now from Buck to kind of push him back. He's trying his best to keep the pressure on, and now he's got him against the fence. This is where he wanted him. And he lands a 4-piece combination on the block right there, but does a bit of head damage. And Jake Paul's still circling. He's trying his best, but you can see that head health is just dwindling slowly, Doctor. That's going to be a problem as well as he's done so far. You cannot let Bucko get you against that fence and kind of land those combinations. Even when you're in the pocket, you can't let him kind of unload on that block, because some of them are going to creep through.
Indeed, Bucko seems like the type of man, if he gets you stuck against that cage, he's going to rip to you like Bang Bang does when you're against the cage, and that's not a place anybody wants to be. Entering into the second round of 3. Touch the gloves to begin with, and both of them are back at it again. That strike coming out of Bucko's like a firing line, constantly looking to land, and it is landing very clean. That hook as well was doing a lovely job.
Nice work. Goes for the straight right there. And the hook again, he pulls it this time, doesn't kind of fire back. The head kick comes to the spinning elbow, goes to the body. He's done some damage right there. Jake Paul's scrambling now to get his head health back, but he cannot. Dropped against the fence, and Bucko is in control, Doctor.
That is a definite way to cure the second round. Apologies, and takes down straight down. He had success on the feet, now evidently wants success on the ground. Jake Paul is a bit sore in terms of head health, his body health as well. Switch kick there does land. Now Bucko on the front foot, putting his pressure on, establishing that jab, and just looking for the kill, Humble.
Nice work right now. He's going for it again. They switch positions, but beautiful work from Bucko. He's done a fantastic job of just sticking to the game plan, kind of making sure he's kind of headhunting slightly. I say slightly, he's definitely headhunting, but he's doing a great job at it. And then he's going to the body when he hurts his opponent, and Jake Paul cannot adjust to this. He started off so well, but Bucko is coming out firing, and Jake Paul cannot seem to adapt, Doctor.
Jake Paul can't seem to adapt. He's having some fun. Bucko now taunting the head health so low that he can't engage. Uppercut does adapt. Getting the pullback now, looking for...
This could be it.
This could be it.
Oh, this could be it. Oh!
Okay then.
Jake Paul, what the hell?
Seems like that was commentary cursed through the window. We say Jake Paul isn't adjusting, and gets the knockdown.
He taunted his opponent.
With the finish.
He taunted his opponent, Doc. When you play with your food, you know there might be some of that dinner that's left to bite you. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't give that dinner legs. You don't want to give them hope. You know, you gotta get down your throat as fast as you can, and you know he didn't do that and ends up paying the price. Anyway, So the next fight, I believe, is going to be Filthy Uncle Ben versus Night Legacy. And Night Legacy actually called for this fight. He doesn't think Ben's a good player. Filthy Uncle Ben, on the other hand, one of my teammates at the KIA Killers in Action team. Fantastic player, likes to throw really nice combinations and play in a certain manner that's, you know, he gets out of the. He likes to pull counter. He likes to do the sort of flair, but he can also grapple. And I believe he might try and do that against Night Legacy in this fight. Anderson Silva versus a Marvin Vettori pick. Doc, what do you make of this?
I make of it like I would do an Izzy versus Marvin Vettori. You got the star-struck kickboxer versus an angry Italian ogre who's looking to go for your legs and keep you on the ground. It's an interesting time card. The cardio advantage would go to Marvin. Silva's got the chin, cardio, the technique are all there. Can that Legacy pull it off? He definitely could. He's got the taunting ability. We all know that. We've seen it in the past. The typical 3-star fighter pick now heading towards the 4, the 5-star picker, 5-star picker with the likes of Silva.
Here we go. Yeah, I feel like you got to mix it in the wrestling, right? If you Filthy Uncle, if I was in his corner tonight, I'd be telling him to mix the wrestling, and you've got to kind of do that against Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva is a really good counter wrestler, though. He reminds me kind of those Jose Aldo. And these two were going at it, by the way, Dr. Filthy said, I'm going to put in a highlight reel performance on this one. And Night Legacy said, you ain't shit. You're not going to finish me. You're not very good. And I think I'm going to knock you out. So a lot of heat, a lot of trash talk. And now we get to see some of the action. We get to see who was actually correct in their prediction.
It's going to be an interesting time. Both of them already starting on. Nobody. About 3 thoughts went through my head before I actually got to one that I wanted to say. It's always a fun time. These two have one thought in mind, and that is to punch each other in the face. So uppercut gets me as he goes down. Head kick lands in very close contact, and a takedown lands very nicely, ducking under the hooks and into side saddle. We go, Humble.
I believe that was his game plan throughout. They're just trying to engage with Anderson Silva, make sure he starts to throw them 2-3 pieces, and as soon as he did, duck underneath and get the turn and takedown, I believe it was. Great work, and he gets the denial right then. And Filthy Uncle Ben is a fantastic ground player as well. He can keep people on there and do enough damage to kind of neutralize the stand-up game, and that's what he looks like he's doing. We do have some fantastic players in our camp that kind of do this, like judo, like jiu-jitsu, like Pablo. All these guys, all they do is grapple, so you've got to be good against these guys, otherwise you're going to get your ass smoked, essentially, Doctor.
Yeah, you've got to be good all round, being in the grappling department and the striking department. We know that Night Legacy is definitely effective in the striking. Can he make himself up onto the feet is the question of the night. Marvin now on back mount, rain down some shots, go for the back flat. It does so. The RNC is available from here. We do end up seeing a half guard transition. Vettori with all the stamina in the world and allows him to go to top mount.
A difficult position to be in right now, but Legacy's not took too much damage so far. He's kind of done a good job of neutralizing, and Filthy Uncle Ben is trying to save his stamina. He's just trying to win this round so far, and he's doing a great job of kind of remaining on top, keep draining that stamina and using the grappling advantage and the stamina advantage to get those easy passes, Doctor.
Does get those easy passes right down there. That's a lovely job running down shot after shot, getting the stun. That block so low. Now into half guard we go again, though. We see Marvin Vettori happy just to play this game side controlled, side saddle, top mount back, just make that rotation. You're going to get all the damage off in the world, even with Silva having about 96 chin, if I remember correctly.
Beautiful work right now. He's got that position. He can just chip away right now. This isn't what we're quite used to after the first few fights. This is a great performance, great IQ performance from Filthy Uncle so far, kind of taking his opponent out of it. And this is what happens when you have a bit of a grudge match. So people are more unwilling to kind of stand there and trade with people when they know, that's where they're kind of good. I'll take them out of their game. I'll put them on the back and I'll slow everything down a bit. Oh, pull to the pull. Beautiful work right there from Filthy. And that's the end of the round, Doctor.
End of the round is a very nice place to be, especially after a grappling exchange. It's going to be an interesting time for both opponents' jabs into the lead hook there. A lead hook follows. It seems like both of them are just using their lead hook like you would a jab. That was an interesting counter window.
Ooh, beautiful straight down the middle. And Filthy Uncle Ben is probably going to be wanting to take it back to the ground, but Night Legacy's got to be aware of that now. So maybe Filthy Uncle's got to kind of mix it up, The clinch is there as well. There's other ways to kind of do it, and he's hoping his striking's going to open up, but you don't want to get caught, because if you get caught, it can swing the fight drastically, Doctor. And that's something the counter grapplers kind of look for. Big shot right there from Anderson Silva, and Filthy fires back.
Well, counter grappler's main idea is to make sure the fighter stays on the feet. Hopefully you win the striking battle. If you don't, you're going to have an issue. Although the grappling of the first round definitely played... I shouldn't have laughed, but...
I mean, you play silly games, you win silly
games, you get dumb KOs. In that case, like Legacy Taunting said to come here, motion and a hook puts him to sleep.
Tom got stuck. It's happened to me before. I can't really say anything, but not in a live fight. When I need to win this fight, Filthy Uncle will take that all day, and it wasn't probably how he wanted.
You just can't disregard it. That is the way it goes, getting the lead hook just to the face.
Well done to Filthy Uncle Ben, though. He stuck to his game plan throughout, and he was already, I believe he won the first round. He was doing really well in the second. He was catching his opponent, Night Legacy. And Night Legacy, you could tell there was some frustration there, because he was trying to get his opponent to kind of throw combinations that he usually wouldn't out of range. And that comes with the taunting as well, right, Doctor? You try and make your opponent do stuff that you want them to do, and it didn't quite go in his favour tonight.
No, it didn't quite go in his favour, evidently, by the fact he took a lead hook to the face as he taunts. But with no further introduction, no further hanging back on that weird ending to the fight, we have FSK Keza versus FSK Comp. Keza stepped in for this one's late replacement, wanting to fight his own campmate. An interesting time. We're in the lightweight division again, should be an interesting time. I think both of them are going to go McGregor humble.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen it again. We should ban McGregors.
We should have an entire card dedicated to either full McGregors or they're all banned.
Interestingly, both guys coming off losses as well. Both got good records in PT, but top level players. They don't fight anybody but good players, it seems. The FSK guys are very well versed and very much, from what I've seen, diverse striking camp. But it's always nice to watch these guys, and it's good from the PlayStation side to kind of watch how these guys flow. But it's interesting that they're not. Did you see that? They're not. How?
Oh, you just turn off the thing that tracks fights. I did it ages ago when I first started game. I never bothered to turn it on. So sometimes that may just be the case. Anyhow, both of these are at it, playing the slow and steady game. I doubt they're going to have any real feel in that process, especially since it's their campmate.
Got loads of support for Comp in the chat as he gets pushed back right there from Keza. And Keza wanted to kind of honour Comp with a good fight. He was upset that his opponent pulled out, and he's like, no way he's going to be left without an opponent. I'll jump in there and we'll have a great fight. And Comp was straight away, yeah, let's do it. That's going to be a fun one. So these guys just really want to compete in front of a live audience, and that's what you're seeing right now. Both guys just putting it on the line and kind of throwing some beautiful combinations with some nice head movement. And Comp's just trying to find his range at the moment, Doc.
He really is, both of them playing this slow, steady, methodical pace. It's also interesting to note that Comp's main style is playing on the back foot, letting your opponent overextend and looking for the counter. Kez is going to know that as his campmate. Will he manage to overextend? Who particularly knows? They got 3 rounds to play. We're already halfway through the first round, so it should be an interesting time.
Starting to use his jab. Beautiful cross right there. Sorry, hook right there from Comp. As he catches Keza coming in, clipped him on the side of the ear, and he does it again. He's landed that 3 or 4 times in the last minute, Doctor. And Keza's got to be mindful of that. It's a beautiful hook, but he's disguising it well with a quick jab, and he's changing the rhythm and the pace of the hook when he's throwing it, and that's causing some problems for Keza at the moment.
Yeah, both of them are just having a very fun time. Got shown back and forth. You did see Comp earlier with a stun. They're both. Then they know each other's skill pan, so it's an interesting fight. Comp seems like the better fighter here, though. Well, you didn't. You came out to fight. You didn't have to knock McGregor literally unconscious into the cage.
Oh, damn!
He got KO'd by the straight, hit his head on the cage, and fell straight to sleep.
Comp was an effort. fucking about on this one, was he? He was basically saying, I'm going to come in there, I'm going to take my opponent out. And he started off, for me, quite slow, but as you explained his game plan, everyone much can't fight too much. That's what he did. He executed that perfectly. And maybe on Kez's behalf, he was a bit too aggressive, but Comp gets the win. A fantastic performance from him, and he pushed himself up. And just to mention as well, we've got something on the line today, Doctor, as well, because as mad as the main event is for the Xbox title between Muffet Man and Trixie, this is our last card before our Grand Prix next week, the Xbox and PlayStation Grand Prix, where we start the new season. And essentially, the people who will get put into the top 15 will kind of get first choosing to be in that tournament. So everybody's kind of fighting tonight to either keep position or push themselves into that spot, and some big matchups on the line going throughout the card to kind of keep people where they want to be until they get into those tournaments so they can fight for that belt.
Indeed, you got Trixie versus Moffat Man of the main event. That fight, arguably the biggest of them all, not only because of the title belt, but that dictate who becomes the title holder going into the new season, going into that GP, who gets to defend that belt maybe 5 times if you make it to the main event, or maybe once if you lose it within the first round. We saw that last time with Trixie holding belt, Keza coming along, maintaining champion, then Fad comes along and just dominates for the rest of the season until, of course, you have the ever mighty Trixie come in and take it. Both of them are interesting fights nonetheless. You've got the Moffat Man, Trixie, Haroon's there as well, Noggin, Haroon, they're both ranked players. Humble yourself, you're all fighting for position, you know you're highly ranked. You got Ned trying to get that bit more position, Toasty as well. Rara is also an interesting note, he's got a very high record. Ricardo also going to be fighting, so across the board you've got that entire main card is just looking for maintaining position.
Everyone, but you're dying, literally everyone on the card is fighting for big, even Skitch. Like Skitch could potentially push himself top 15. I don't know where. I think he's 2-1, so now that could take him to 3-1. Might end up in that top 15 right there. We don't know until we do the rankings, but we have a fantastic fight coming up because it's Motown versus AJ's Walker. So KM Motown versus AJ's Walker. This is going to be a great fight. I'm very excited to see who they pick. Hopefully we don't get a Connor versus Connor pick, because I'm starting to get bored of that, Doctor. But these guys are in the welterweight
fight tonight, I believe, is to blame for that. Anybody particularly good in lightweight is either Poirier and McGregor. Most people are more comfortable with McGregor. That's sometimes the way it goes, though. Apart from that, I've just seen Night Legacy say, I don't think I'll ever learn that taunting is a bad idea. Probably not if you've got lead hooks in the face by that. Welterweight division, we got Burns as one pick, Masvidal on another. I think we're going to get going. Interesting time for M-Town to go Burns. He's a striker through and through. Burns is a grappler more, even if it doesn't lead him as a boxer, Humble. So fun times ahead of us.
Yeah, we always mention this as well, but of course he was a world championship grappler as well, not just any sort of grappler. He was a fantastic jiu-jitsu competitor, and he's one of the elite black belts. Doesn't use it enough in his fights, because I believe he started falling in love with his hands, and he's kind of short and stocky, and he was doing a good job of kind of pacing people up, as we see him do against Woodley. But he's fighting somebody with the stats of Masvidal in this one. I believe he's got to take him down. He's got to try and use the advantages where he can and kind of have a chip away at that stamina, because AJ's Walker and Masvidal, you've got to kind of keep him off the block breaking, the amazing shots that you're going to get. He's going to throw. He's going to try and whittle you down. You're not going to be able to compete with that, as you can see right now, Doc. So for me, you've got to mix it up. You've got to be a full martial artist if you are playing with a Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, Burns' entire style, if you want to make the Burns fighter effective, the low cardio and the low recovery rate of Burns is purely built around grappling first and foremost, using that jiu-jitsu, using the heavy hands within that ground and pound section, and then coming up top and looking for that finish after. See his fight against Damian Maya, per se, who was grappling quite heavily, came up and then KO'd the poor sod. Even he is my first fighter. Gets a quick reversal though. Masvidal on top. Burns has got the rubber guard within full guard, got the half guard sweep as saw, and a lot of submission offerings here as well. Humble.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the most important parts about that sweep was the actual the reversal. But he's in a bad position now as he's gone for that rubber guard and gets the first denial. He goes for the posture. But if he gets denied there, he was going to be in some serious trouble.
But
he manages to get the
stack. Deny on the side, and I think that was a fake.
Oh, it was a fake. Okay. Yeah. It looked like a denial to myself, but obviously very, very nicely done from AJ's Walker. And he gets back to his feet, and this is clearly where he wants to be. But kind of a nice test to start on the ground and kind of say, I know what I'm doing. You can't keep me and hold me down. So let's have a bit of a stand-up war. And he's getting caught right now.
Both M-Town on the back foot. Maybe it's not the best idea. He'd had some success when he's putting forward. The issue is, though, Burns is just shorter fighter, so Masvidal can just poke that jab straight out and just make sure he doesn't move forward.
Nice work right there. Goes to the body, goes back to the head from AJ Walker. And AJ Walker fires 2 down the center again. It's very close so far, but Motown's finest for me. He just needs to kind of mix that up and kind of implement his style, because he's getting caught coming in. He's getting caught, as I say that. AJ Walker now gets rocked, and Gilbert Burns is going after him. I better shut up, Doctor. It's the commentator's curse is real. I forget it sometimes.
The commentator curse is real. Win any type of fight. It's a brilliant time to see. Trips him down, gets a takedown, very nice there. Will M-Town be able to hold position? Gets the denied on top now. A minute left on the clock. Building massive GA, goes for backs it and doesn't get it. Another deny, that leaves him a Harsel full mount here. And now maybe we see a post drop. Sadly not, Humble.
Nice work from Motown, and this is where he wants to be, because he's going to have free pass right now. If he gets some denials off, he could attempt a submission, but we've not seen any of that yet from Gilbert Burns. It looks like he's just trying to go position over submission at the moment, but he's getting some reads on his opponent. I think that's really important when you are a grappler, to kind of understand which way your opponent moves, how fast they move, what type of transitions they like to go for, and mainly the speed. You want to know like what type of timings, because most people kind of do the same thing. They pattern themselves a few times.
The first round's always, sorry to cut you off there, but the first round's always an interesting time for a grappler. Either you have a lot of success or you have no success. It's one or the other. But and the further as the fight goes on, the further the opponent getting wrestled gets a read on it, and you just start learning your patterns as well. So it's an interesting time having to always mix it up. Walker trying to play on that front foot, although gets dropped beautiful. There. Burns' power being a showcase. Slam here on his head, and now position over submission is probably what M-Town's going to go for, as you mentioned, Humble.
Yeah, and he gets a nice denial right there. He's got some reads already on his opponent. He gets a crucifix. This is terrible for Masvidal, and he gets denied right now. And AJ Walker's in some serious trouble right now. Motown's finest is starting to hit him with the point of the elbow into that cheekbone. And a crucial moment right there as he gets the denial, but he's also landed some nice elbows from the side control as well.
He could have got Kimura there. I'm just thinking that like the Kimura was a completely valid option. He got denied on the sprawl and he could enter it. Sadly doesn't do it, which is an interesting time, especially as a Burns pick, but yeah, sometimes he'll more
I do commend though the kind of decision making from him, because he's having some real success with the ground and pound and that side control, and his opponent's starting to scramble and starting to panic slightly, so he's getting some easy reads. And, he might not feel confident with that submission. And if he kind of gets out of it as well, Doc, he could end up in a more advantageous position for Walker, which gets the fight back to the feet, which is not where Motown's finest wants to be. He wants to chip away at the moment and kind of do some damage. And that's exactly what he is doing. Oh, nearly finishes him.
Uh-oh. Interesting. Evidently low head health gave way to it. Now we've got to see a sub attempt, so low with the stamina as well. Maybe you have to get good marking, good tracking so far. The red creeping up a bit slower than the blue, but the blues now following suit.
It's really difficult to kind of get this, but obviously when he gets to that position, he's going to get some hammer fists, and that's kind of what he's looking for. He needs to keep it neck and neck, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. You can't panic if you are Walker at the moment, and that's exactly what he's doing. But he looks like he's about to get out. Can he get it? He's going to get some hammer fists right now.
It's going to be really close. It's going to look like he gets out. Lovely job there. Now back straight up to the feet. Doesn't matter. Masvidal go is the sensible option. Does so. Burns up top. Chuck straight into the uppercut. Double uppercuts there. Jab straight lands suit. Walker's got to be so wary of how he trades.
Beautiful. Yeah, he definitely does. And he's kind of walking into shots at the moment from Gilbert Burns. And Motown's finest is using Gilbert Burns perfectly in this one. Had some trouble early in the first, but took over after that takedown, and now he's using his striking to kind of set up those takedowns, being a complete mixed martial artist in this one, Doctor.
Really is. That grappling has really opened up that striking. You saw Walker having difficulty in the first, having success in the first and second round striking, but as soon as commentary curse appears. Lovely get up there and just end of round 2.
Man, this is going to be a crazy third round. These two have obviously You know, that could have ended right there, Doc, and it could have been like a dominant performance so far for the last 2 rounds from Gilbert Burns, and then all of a sudden Walker comes back out and nearly knocks him down and could have got a finish if he was lucky there. But they meet back in the center of the octagon, and here we go for round 3.
Round 3 is always an interesting time. It's where the most action has, definitely the most independent of all of it. Judges also get most effective, as you mentioned countless times. I'm starting to believe that. The more times you do, Walker gets a knockdown. Walker gets knocked down. Apologies, a takedown there, and we're onto the floor, Humble.
Yeah, nice work. He's now into half guard, and he's going to try and posture up right now and do some damage. He's been doing a fantastic job of peppering his opponent, especially from the side control position. If he gets the crucifix as well, you've got to think it's going to be over sooner or later with Motown Finest on top of you. But Masvidal and Walker did well in the first, but not right now, as he's going to have to stop a barrage of punches. It's close, Doc.
Both of them are just in this section. You got M-Town currently on the offense, being on top gives you that offense, slowly digging the house. Every time the ground and pound lands on Walker here, you just have his head blinking. Walker just trying to play a very defensive game, but with 3 minutes left on the clock, it's looking more and more like M-Town may be able to get a finish.
Nice work. He's going to push to Mount right now, and Mount's a good position for him as he gets a denial, and he's going to try and posture up and land some ground and pound onto Walker's noggin. And he gets some big shots, but gasses out. And that's the problem with the ground and pound as well, Doctor. If you miss one shot, you miss a couple of shots, you can kind of gas out a bit quickly, and your opponent can kind of defend right there. But he's doing a really good job of the denials at the moment in this fight.
Oh, lovely blocking there as well. The denials on M-Town side is doing well. The blocking on Walker's side is keeping him in the fight.
Oh.
Triangle armbar attempt here, and this is going to be a very interesting time. We saw the armbar attempt earlier. Now the tracking staying somewhat similar. He's more gassed though, and so the tracking's just going that quick. You see that blue bar creeping up. He needs to squeeze a bit closer to the very edge with that RT, and maybe he'll be able to actually get some better tracking.
He's doing a great job. Yeah, he's doing a great job of tracking it though, and it's neck and neck, and I do believe the submission is ahead. It's going to be a close one. He's got the owl triangle armbar from Mount, and he gets it. Great work and a fantastic performance from Motown's Finest. Walker had some early success, but a dominant one in my opinion from Motown there.
It was a very methodical approach. Looking back here, you see the very much Walker taking the first round very slowly, M-Town having that grappling. He got used to it first round where the grappling either works really well or it just doesn't. That second round, that grappling really came to fruition, and you saw here that triangle armbar, just a fantastic use of getting those denies, trying to get the damage done in ground and pound. Didn't realize it wasn't working, and so went for a different attempt, and evidently Walker was not ready for it.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't ready for it. Nice win for M-Town's Finest right there. We move on to the next fight. I do believe this is still happening. It's BFAP Slick versus Killer Jake. I think they might be ready to go in a second.
I'm pretty sure both of these opponents are going to be fun. I know Slick called out Jakey, and we're all the happier to make it happen. We've got Jake as a striker. Slick, I don't know what he is these days. He originally started out as a grappler. My first ever debut fight was against him within PT, old IFL. I got top mounted and finished within a round, so it's always a fun time watching him fight.
Yeah, it definitely is. And these guys have got the bantamweight division today. We haven't seen much of the bantamweight division, so it'll be interesting. It looks like he's going to pick a Dominic Cruz. I always love it, Doc, when someone picks a Dominic Cruz. I'm always looking for the movement and see if I can learn something new from that style, because it's almost a sense of a different sort of playing style. It doesn't quite work, in my opinion, because of the amount of counters you can use to kind of stop that movement. But when I've seen people use it really well and kind of be evasive, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, both of them are just always an interesting time to watch. Slicks across the board is a fun fight. Jake, on the other hand, he's a bit wild. We always see McGregor. We're in the bantamweight division. Herb Dean as the ref. A Cody versus Cruz. You got Glass Chin versus No Power. It's going to be an interesting time.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm looking for some some big shots to come out from Killer Jake to try and take his opponent's head off, but he's got to be careful with his stamina. We haven't seen Slick in a while. Slick hasn't competed from, I think it was the first matchup he had a while back, and he's 1-0 at the moment, so it could be a nice win for him if he does go out and beat Killer Jake. And Killer Jake obviously has been fighting all the way through the season. He's ready for a big fight here, and he catches him with a straight right there. And these guys having a bit of fun right now, Doctor.
Well, this is the kind of the way it goes. Slick's never, if you're going to see Slick strike, you're going to see him strike in a fun way. Slick, if Slick is playing competitively, he's going to grapple you to death, and if he's looking for a fun fight, the way he goes is to strike, and it's always interesting to see. He's always got a bit of a weird curve to it. In this case, he got Cruz's signature moves.
Yeah, Killer Jake 3-2 at the moment, coming off two wins as well, so he's on a bit of a high, and Slick could put a spanner in the works of, Killer Jake wanted to get into that top 16, so he cements his place into the Grand Prix next week. Beautiful work right there from Slick. He's using Dominic Cruz to perfection and pressing the action, which you don't usually see from Dominic Cruz with the power, but kind of doing some real damage right there, Doctor.
I mean, with the way Slick is fighting, I don't think he's really looking to put on the pressure. He's just looking to style on Jake, and that's what he's doing. He's pivoted out of the way of some of his shots, clipped him with a roundhouse earlier. The leg kicks coming out just to work that tiny bit to get rid of his power. Just peppered that face, ducked down, and he's really just looking for any type of fancy shots he can find.
Nice, but leg kick right there. Beautiful work coming off the center line. We talked about it earlier on in the fight. Nice, going for the takedown and doesn't get it. The ankle pick is unsuccessful, and Killer Jake tries to dance him. Obviously, this is a rematch, isn't it, from the real fight they had? What a fantastic performance from Cody in that fight. But Slick right now hurt his leg, and now he's got him on the floor. There's some real damage coming from the ground and pound. Doctor.
That head movement just really did a fantastic job. Tucked straight under. Fantastic job.
Oh, he's going to go back to that leg shoot. He's done so much damage, Doctor, and it's taken away some of the power from Cody. But the head movement so far from Cruz, he's kind of getting away with some shots as well. He's not getting caught with stuff, and he's just being evasive, being elusive, and landing at his own will at the moment.
He really is. Jake's having a difficult time. That leg's so injured now that he's got a constant block low. He's going to hope for anything. A couple of clinch attempts go for the clinch shrimp. He knows that he doesn't want to have Jake putting on the pressure at the very end of the round. Digs to that body. Now we'll just sit in full guard, let the pace of the fight slow down, maybe frustrate Jake, and we close out the first round.
Good fight IQ right there. How many times do you see fighters, or how many times have you played the game? I'm asking the audience here as well, where at the end of the round you get clipped on, you're winning the round, and you get clipped or knocked down, and then all of a sudden you're losing that round. So good fight IQ from Slick right there to take the fight to the ground, mix it up, and not allow his opponent back into that round from kind of dominating it from most of it.
That's a lovely bit of head movement. Does get clipped there. A trade to the hook there. Uppercut does get him drowned. Cody's chin looking like it may be the sufferer tonight. Slick deciding that he wants to posture down at the very end, making sure Jake can't get up.
People have got bets on Slick at the moment. This has been an interesting fight so far. I do believe Killer Jake needs to mix it up. He needs to kind of get some success somewhere, and he's kind of not used any of his kicks yet to kind of capitalize on those movement. I'm just interested to see how he kind of adapts to the style of Slick, because currently he's not really done much in this fight. But that's a beautiful counter right there, Doctor.
And the head kick follows suit. Both of them trying the uppercut does whiff there. Cruz is happy to play on this outside, just poking in and out, digging to the legs when he does get a chance. Jake, however, now starting to play this aggressive pattern, doesn't, misses a front kick, lead leg, lands uppercut, narrowly whiffs him, uppercut follows, ducks under the hook. Both of them are just looking for constant counter windows. This is a fun fight.
He catches him with a left hook right there, goes to the body again. And he's firing back. Beautiful combination. This is what I was kind of looking for from Killer Jake. He needs to do something, and if you're going to get knocked out, at least have a try. You need to try to get in your opponent's face. You need to try and do something. But that's at his detriment at the moment, because Slick is ready for that and uses the takedown to perfection. Now he's past the side control into mount. He's going to try and get some ground and pound off now, Doc.
Ground and pound is working very effectively, narrowly avoids him, making Cruz gas out, gets him into half guard. 2 minutes left of the round. Cruz in a much dominant more position. Yeah, sure. Cody, its chin is looking like it's going to be made of glass by the end of this round, Humble.
A much dominant more position indeed as he passes back into half guard right there. He's doing a great job of just chipping away, working on his opponent, constantly making Garbrandt work, and the stamina's not an issue for either guy at the moment, but the head health for Killer Jake certainly is, as Slick rains down upon his opponent with fire from above, as you said in the intro earlier on. This is a great performance so far with the Dominic Cruz pick, and like we keep talking about, the chipping away, the cumulative amount of damage that Slick's done throughout this fight has been impressive, and he's going to continue to try and do that for the next 40 seconds of this round.
Indeed. Now we're in sprawl. This is a fantastic time just to work someone's body or let them get up in an easy manner. Both are completely viable. You also can get a deny. You can attempt to guillotine, but with that being said, both of them are in this pocket. Jake trying to get a comeback within this last round. Cruz happy to trade shots with his no power in his hands, and the power of Cody also seems to be suffering from that constant blinking leg.
Ooh. He's done a good job of going low and taking away the base of Cody Garbrandt. You take away the base, you chop down the tree, and then the roots, the core, it doesn't have the same amount of balance. It doesn't have the same amount of torque. It doesn't have the same amount of energy that it can transfer into those fists and all those powers. And if you think about it, it completely makes sense. If you chop that base down, you're not going to be able to generate as much as you want to, or you're not going to be as dangerous. And that's exactly what Slick's done. And he's neutralized Cody Garbrandt by doing that. And that's a superb takedown right there. Great timing from Slick.
And tries to reversal. Slick's too wise to it, gets to denial with a top mount pass. And here we see this heavy ground and pound possibly getting raised straight there. Straight lead hook, hook. And another hook to get the finish.
Great performance from Slick right there. He's come back after a bit of a layoff. And, he's done no respect. Oh,
I'm pretty sure Killer Jake did accidentally fake glove touch, and I say accidentally, he did front kick him to begin with as Slick go for a touch glove, so maybe that's payback.
All right. Well, he's done his talking in the cage, hasn't he, Slick? So he's done a fantastic job of kind of going there. And I always make a joke of the name of BFAT, but they're a fantastic team, and they're only growing at the moment, and a great performance for one of their campmates.
Built for ankle picking is the name of the game. He didn't need to ankle pick, he just needed to have a bit of a cuddle to then showcase his striking ability. Moving on to the other side of consoles, we have Dirty Dave making an appearance.
Dirty Dave versus Carter as well. What a fight we've got in our hands right now. Dirty Dave taking about a month off competition, but he was currently ranked around about the 7th in the PlayStation rankings at 4-1. He's had some good wins in his record. He's been noting that he does like to grapple, and his previous opponent of God Tier was mainly a striker, but Carter's nothing but a great grappler and a great striker. This kid can do it all. There is some beef sometimes with these two because they've fought a few times, and I do believe that Dave was going to come in with some interesting stuff. I always like watching Dave fight, Doctor, because he always has some great takes on how to get certain positions, and he comes at it from an analytic point of view. And Carter's a bull when it comes to hurting his opponent. He's always in the face. He's always trying to hurt people, but he's got some fantastic grappling. I felt it myself. He was a former campmate of mine, so this is an interesting fight. We've lost Doctor, but I can take over.
Sorry, apology. I was just trying to work out where that stand was. I thought it was Moonlight for a second. Turns out Katz has got the hurricane in the background by the sound. So I had to mute the stream. Anyhow, apologies for that interruption. So, Dave, as you mentioned, he's a fantastic striker. He's kind of a nutcase. I've always joked about the fact that he spends more time in practice than he does actually fighting, I find.
Yeah, well, that's how you get really good. We call it the lab, isn't it? So you're labbing all the time and kind of working on shots, and you can really learn about how to counter certain combinations and counter things. That's what I did when I wanted to learn how to counter the knee elbow. Clearly not well enough because I got beat by Pity U today, but it's one of the things that you can kind of do in your work, and that's especially with grappling, right? grappling's so important. But Dave and Carter at the moment, there's no grappling involved. They are absolutely trying to kill each other in the center of the octagon. There's wheel kick for wheel kick, mirror for mirror, boxing for boxing. These two have not let each other off at all in this one.
No, just happy to throw back and forth, contenting the shots landing Dave. Peter Yan is a completely different kettle of fish, I find. It's always so unique. He's always so fluid with it, and it's just incredible how he does that. I've fought him countless times, and it's just a mental time to fight him.
And he's doing a great job of feinting just outside the pocket right there. You can see Dave kind of edging his way into the distance. And I always notice this with high-level players as well. Just their ability to kind of great denial right there, but their ability to work their way into the pocket as he lands a beautiful fly and timed knee right there and gets him into a Dave's position, kind of taking his back. The rear naked is banned in Primetime, but he's going to be able to go for top mount possibly, and that's kind of stopped the transition there. It's something that it's hard to kind of go against, isn't it, Doctor? Because you know the rear naked's back, you also know they're going to go for the top mount, so it is difficult to do. I just wish they'd kind of dumbed down that rear naked for us to be able to use it.
Yeah, an interesting part about Dave and his entire philosophy, he'll let you take his back. He doesn't care about it. If you take his back, he's happy, in fact, because he just goes to back sitting. He's used to this. He plays within the rule set, and he knows how to exploit that rule set to a couple parts, especially the RNC per se. Now we see Cart's trying to go to the side control, doesn't get it. He's building up that GA and probably going to look for that full guard transitioning as his opponent's building up that GA. He does the same when you're faking, so you have got to be very wary of the way Dave grapples.
Well, he mentioned it earlier on. He wanted to fight somebody who was a grappler. He's enjoying the grappling department. He likes the analytics, the technique, the nostalgia of grappling. He enjoys to kind of dabble with that, and that's kind of what he wanted. You can see right there, he doesn't shy away from it. A beautiful tie combination right there. The Raymond Decker combination of the body shot, the lead hook to the body straight, and then leg kick afterwards. Expertly done by Dave there.
Dave digging down to that body again. The uppercuts, the trading of the hooks as well. The switch kick misses by Carts, and the front kick comes forward, does try to land that rear body hook, doesn't get it. A straight landing on that block. Both of them are just looking to play a picky, pockety game, just trying to find one shot that fills the void.
It's just the ability of Dave to kind of keep the range and then work his way in is kind of the key to this one so far, in my opinion. In the first, Carter's going to have to find a way to kind of enter that pocket without getting caught and kind of stop Dave from entering the pocket with the way he is at the moment. And it's a difficult puzzle to solve because not many can do it in the world, let's be real, Doc.
Yeah, both of them are just difficult opponents. And both of them got that extreme defense. Dave always is so hard to hit. Carts is the same. You can just see it in how Dave's having a difficulty just time land those shots. That head movement again has been the name of the game all night. It's just keeping your head out that way of getting hit, and Dave now realizing that maybe the takedowns are the best way to go here.
Nice work, and he's got Carter on his back right now. Carter, we talked about earlier on, is no slouch, but it's different when you've got somebody like Dirty Dave. The caliber of his grappling compared to, say, my grappling is completely different. It's difficult to deal with. It's intense, and he just knows everything about the game. As we see him move into side control right there, Dave's going to try and land some ground and pound right now. And the last three fights have been kind of grappling heavy. It's not something we always see in prime time. It's a bit different for us, Doctor, but, you know, the audience seems to appreciate this sort of style, and I like it as well. It's shown their true kind of mixed array of technique and grappling in the primetime community, where it's mixed martial arts, not just boxing and kickboxing, right?
Indeed, the striking games and always a fun fight. Have a couple of striking matches, have a couple of kickboxing matches, but down to the meat and bone of it. If you can do both aspects, if you can grapple, if you can strike, if you can show that skill everywhere, that is the name of the game. It's MMA for a reason, mixed martial arts, as you said, and Dave is showing that ability. He's always had it. You've always seen him with his GSP. Now he's moving on to Yan, and so far Carts is having a bit of a difficult time.
Nice work right now, and Dave's just chipping away again. He's happy and content to just have a little prod at his opponent and just kind of win majority of the round so far. Hopefully he's trying to make his opponent make a mistake, but Carter is very patient. He knows the danger at hand. He is aware of the warning signs. He can see that Dave is trying to set him up for something big, and something big he might do right now is he tries to get the turn there, and he doesn't quite get it, and Carter's going to try to miss misdirect him. He thought he was going to go straight up there and push him against the fence, but he tries to get the turnover and maybe a mistake from Karts, but they're back to their feet, Doctor.
Back to their feet, multiple positions to go. Instead, learns for a turning takedown from the back. Takes him down here. It's going to be a very interesting time.
Nice work, and I think we've had a bit of lag right now, but there we go. We're back to it. And oh, please don't. Please don't. Nice work, beautiful turn right there from Carter, and Carter wants to land some. Carter wants to land some big shots right now as he gets into side control. It'll be interesting to see which position he decides to take up. But Dave defending nicely, getting his back to half guard, and Carter starts to rain down on his opponent as well, but being conservative with his shots. Goes back to half guard, and you've got to think if you're Carter right now, you might be two rounds down, Doctor.
2 rounds down would be a good idea, I would say. An armbar attempt at the very end, just for the fun and games of it. With that, though, we are into the third and final round of this fight.
I wasn't expecting this, I'll be honest. I was expecting these guys. I was on. As it's crazy. These two are now starting to come out, and Carter's got a bit of urgency to him, and he's got Core coming in, and Dave's going to throw him onto his back and get side saddle position. Great work from Dirty Dave. Going to try to block his transition. He does just that. The ground and pound is coming in thick and heavy, and Carter's got to get his umbrella up because it's raining down on him at the moment, Doctor.
He is indeed a crucifix position there. Lovely job. Gonna hope to rain down some elbows if he's lucky. If he isn't, we get a side saddle tonight, and this is going to be a very dangerous position for Karts. That head health is now blinking.
Oh, yeah, he's going to struggle to get out of this one, especially against Dave, but he gets back to side saddle. Great work. He just needs to avoid that, and, he goes for the back. Doesn't quite get it. Goes back to crucifix, and he's getting his way with him now. Carter's going to be annoyed with this. I can know this for a fact. He doesn't want to be in this position, and Dirty Dave's just chipping away. Great work there from Carter to get back to side control, but not much better because you're still getting elbowed in the face, Doctor. And that, your face is just skin and bone. You can't keep taking loads of elbows to that face. It's eventually going to break. It's eventually going to crack. It's eventually going to deteriorate. And it's not going to be good for Carter because he's eventually going to not be able to take those shots no longer.
Elbow after elbow, the skin, the bone will all crack, the nose will bleed, but instead Dave wants to slam him and destroy all of his joints. 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. Within full guard now. That's better than the positions we have seen Carter in. Tries to reversal, doesn't get it, and this is still Dave's round so far, and I feel like Carter is having a very difficult time making any sort of comeback.
Yeah, he is, and it's difficult to kind of play this sort of matchup as well because it's super frustrating. Sometimes you just want to fight, you just want to get back to your feet and throw some hands, and even on the feet, you can tell some frustration there from Carter trying to get his opponent to kind of come out of character and throw some shots. But Dave's just managed the distance well. He's managed his combinations well, and he's managed the takedowns as well throughout this fight. So Carter's got to be careful. He's looking for a pullback. But he's just got to try and get in the face, hasn't he? All or nothing right now for Carter, in my opinion. Doctor, we'll see what he throws out there in the last minute of this round.
Yeah, Dave is saying patient. He knows he secured the last 2 rounds, and that's just the way it goes. A minute left on the clock. An elbow tries to land, doesn't get any much success. A spinning heel kick for the head of it. A flying knee back in retaliation. Body kick there. Both of them are just looking for any big shots to maybe secure the round, but seems like neither are wanting to let their defense slip.
You can't as well if you're Carter right now because you don't want to get taken down again. You don't want to be put on your back for the last 36 seconds. I do believe my stream's kind of slowed down a little bit yourself,
I believe
Doctor.
Their entire stream is having a bit of a...
Of course, with 33 seconds left, of course it is. As Carter's going for the flying knee right there, and we're going into slow motion mode, and everything is going really slow. But yeah, Carter's trying to get something off, and he can't quite do it. Great performance from Dirty Dave so far. It looks like that's going to be it, Doctor.
Yep, 5 seconds left, and it looks like Dave may take the victory.
Yeah, a very dirty performance from Dave right there. Just thought I'd throw that out there from some puns that were in the chat from Purple. But he he controlled the fight. He didn't necessarily let himself go. And what that does is it limits your opponent's opportunities. And that's what he was fantastic at doing in that fight. And he was happy to take the decision as well. Something that will be happening next season, though, Doc, is obviously we're getting more points for the. I think they've stopped the stream right there. They have. We'll presume that Dirty Dave won that fight.
We'll presume that Dave won that fight. Interesting time, but hey, we'll get that confirmed in the back.
No problem. And we go to the mid card. As I was about to say, though, before we do go to the mid card, because I think we're going to take a short intermission, we will be moving next season into the Grand Prix, and we've got a different ranking system as well, which is going to be based on your point system. As you're going to get more points essentially for first round KOs, and then a little bit more points for second and third, etc. But obviously decisions a bit less. So the competitors who are going to go out there and kind of finish each other and put it on the line, it is a risk. It's high risk, high reward, because they're going to go out there and they're going to earn themselves potentially more points doing so as well, Doctor.
Indeed, you've just got to do that. Card position is going to matter. The win streak is going to matter. It's going to be a very interesting time to have a complete revamp of the rankings, and so it's going to be an interesting time seeing how the GP affects that to begin with. With that being said, we're going to take a short intermission, and we'll be straight back with the main card. Have fun. We'll see you in a few minutes.
See you in a sec.
And we are back with the main card of this evening. You got fight joining me in the booth. This time around, we've got Humble as well as Reaper, who wrote the introduction for the beginning of this card.
Excellent work from Reaper right there. And what a card, the main card we have in store for us, Reaper. This is going to be a fantastic main card. We've got Trixie versus Moffat Man, Jakey versus Fadner, myself fighting Stoyan. They're just a who's who of fights on this one. Which one excites you the most at the moment, Reaper?
That's a great question, Humble. Let me tell you right here, I can see Purple Oracle there versus Boy Badoing. That's going to be a fantastic fight. That's a kickboxer versus a wrestler fight. That's the gold standard for style matchups there. You know, that Trixie fight's very, very entertaining. Trixie's a force in this Xbox division. And of course, Fadnader, King Fad, well, he's coming back looking for redemption here. Wants that shot at the title, you know, wants to go into the GP with some momentum. So they're the three I'm looking forward to. And of course, Humble, yourself there as well, fighting. You know, you're etching it up there as well, mate.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm actually fighting Ned now, which is going to be a really difficult task because he's on a bit of a roll. But next up, Doctor, we've got Rara versus Ricardo. Rara currently sitting at 8-5 and Ricardo 6-3. But previously, both of these guys coming off a loss. But previously, before that, both of these guys were in a 4-fight win streak to get to where they were at. So very interesting. Like, they've both been on tears, and then it's a bounce back win, this one. So this is a very important fight, Doctor.
It is a very, very important fight. You got Rara in the blue gloves here, Ricardo in the red. Both of them seem to be going in Poirier matchup, just waiting on them to ready up. Ricardo's the main striker of FSK, as the guy who formed it previously FSC beforehand, but for the majority of his lifetime he's been known as FSK Ricardo. Rara, on the other hand, he always go back to the mountains after a loss and comes back hopefully looking better. He's been onto the mountains this time, hopefully going to make a return against the ever mighty Ricardo, Reaper.
Absolutely, Doc. You know what? Look at this fight. We got a possible Dustin Poirier mirror match. I know people don't like the mirror matches, but for one, I love them, and I'll quickly tell you why before we get into the fight here. You know, there's no excuses. You know, you lose in a mirror match. That's it. You have no comeback to your opponent. You can't say, well, you beat me because you were using him, and you know it's fair game here. As I like to say, if you breathe air, it's fair game, Doc.
Yeah, you breathe air. It's just the way it goes. Breathing air is kind of what makes us all human. The question is, though, who's going to be breathing the cleanest air by the end of this?
You clearly don't know me very well, Reaper, because I always find an excuse. It doesn't matter if we're the same person or they're not. I'm in the opposite corner at the end of the day. I fight better than the other one. So, you know, there's some sort of thing I can think of right there. But these guys have come out absolutely swinging at each other. We've got AJ's presented in the black shorts and Ricardo coming out firing in the left corner in the white shorts at the moment. And great takedowns on that right there, Reaper.
Absolutely, you know, he's doing a great job keeping on the feet there, opening up with the combinations. He's pushing the pressure here. You know, you get Dustin Poirier on the back foot, you're doing something right there, Doc.
You really are doing something right. Poirier on the front or back foot, still a deadly matchup, but Poirier on the back foot is a bit worse. Although Rara's come out quite nicely, doubles up on the lead hook on Ricardo. 3 minutes 40 on the clock, and both of them aren't really wasting any time getting it started, Humble.
He's got to be careful, though. He goes for a nice takedown right there, but he was kicking in the pocket, and I was waiting for Ricardo to kind of hold his ground and throw a three-piece right there as he was kicking. But great job so far from Rara to mix the game up, and that's what he's been fantastic at recently, Reaper. He's mixing up his game really well, and he's timing those takedowns and keeping his opponent from kind of getting going and offsetting the rhythm, and that's what it's about, making your opponent second-guess themselves so you can land your offense.
Oh, for sure. Listen, this is how we all improve. You always have to mix your game. If you're not improving week to week to week, you know, you're doing something wrong there. So clearly he's doing something right here moving forward in his primetime career, Doc.
That lead hook, uppercut, overhand, follow suit, straight. Holy shit.
Big shot right there. He's going to go for the finish. No, he's not. Ricardo lets him off the hook, and that was a beautiful combination, followed by another beautiful combination. He set him up well for that Reaper and landed with perfect execution.
100%. I thought Dustin Poirier was DEAD, dead when he hit the mat there, but now he's still breathing, he's still going, and that's a beautiful reversal. You know, we're going to get to see what he can do here. Doc, tell me now, if you're on the bottom here, Dustin Poirier, you know, you've got a little bit less of a I've gone blank. I can't. The stat. So let's see what he can do here with the stats on the bottom. Let's see if he can throw up some defensive submissions after this one, Doc.
Yeah, the arm triangle did look semi-decent, although couldn't get anything off. It was a good timing due to that low stam. Now we end up in this half-guard position. Ricardo's definitely winning it, securing that GA. Also has got the rubber guard to offer on bottom, so he may have the stat disadvantage, but he also has a rubber guard, which is always a scary place to be.
Nice right there. You go for the fakes, trying to build some grappling advantage up, and Reaper's already had a nice denial there. And you've got to think back, Reaper, when he had the opportunity to land some ground and pound, he did that beautiful combination, Ricardo, and he let him off. He let his opponent off. He went to a grappling position, got reversed, and led his opponent back into the fight. You cannot do that at this level. When you do that at this level, you're letting your opponent kind of have a chance, make some reads, and eventually adjust.
Oh, you're spot on. Come here, look. I don't care if it's your best friend. I don't care if it's your brother. If your brother hits the deck and you're in the cage, you're jumping on that. Doesn't matter what the story is, family, friends, it doesn't matter. You're looking for the win here, Humble. That's all that matters, is the win. That's all people will remember, is the win, not your humbleness as the fight goes on, Doc.
I think humbleness is a bad idea, especially when you got someone like Mr. Humble in the commentary booth, which is always good. Rara so far, though, is probably on the back foot. He's been knocked down once. He is looking good, though. He did land more significant strikes in the stats-wise, but with 30 seconds into this first round, the overhands are coming out already, Reaper. That's got to bring back flashbacks to you. Humble, I don't know what Rara can do currently.
He's got to take it to the mat. In my opinion, he had some success there. He did a great job. Clearly, that Ricardo feels comfortable on the feet. So, when you're getting backed up against that fence, that's a good time to use the clinch. And not many people do. You can reverse the position. You don't have to always go for a takedown or some cheese. You can use that, but doesn't jump right there. Now he does. Is he going to try and land some ground and pound? No, he's not. Again, could be a problem. Big shot, Reaper.
Major lunges straight into that late hook, Reaper. He's looking to reap.
Oh, come here. He is reaping right now. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely shown the skill difference on the feet. The ground does seem quite similar in a way, but Ricardo just on the feet, he looks crisper. Right? He's got the tighter boxing combinations. He's reading his opponent well, Humble, and going into the fight and at this particular stage of the fight, that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, you've got to mix it up right now. The adjustments need to be made, and Rara's kind of not done that so far. The jump, if he jumped on as well, I believe the fight could potentially be finished a bit quicker. But he give your opponent a chance again, and now he's on top of you. He's in mount, and he's going to have a chance to ground and pound, maybe, Doc?
Nearly gets a ground and pound. Possible deny there, doesn't get it. Now we're in half guard. We've seen Ricardo deny the arm triangle fakes. Now we're in the posture up on top mount, rain down these shots. If we can land a couple, get the finish on Ricardo, it's going to do a massive hit to Ricardo's ego. Is quite possible, but with that being said, a minute 40 left on the clock. Ricardo's winning even if he's on bottom, tries to reversal. Rara gets to the deny Reaper, and arm triangle gets attempted. And it seems like Rara just can't get anything going even when he's on top.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like as we're watching this fight here, I'm seeing the skill difference even on the ground, even in the defensive wrestling. Right, he's back up to his feet now. That's all well and good, but I feel like Rara just is a bit. Oh, that's beautiful, beautiful spin back.
Oh, big shot down the middle right there. Catches him on the snout. Absolutely takes him out, and Ricardo's got him backed up again. I'll let you finish up where you left off there, Reaper.
Is Ricardo just throwing overhands? That's 5. That's 6. This man does not
7.
care. There we go.
That's 8.
Look at him.
I'm gonna love this. I know at the moment is a problem.
He's a monster, man. He does not
10.
care. Look at that.
Oh my days! It's easy to counter those overhands.
11.
Oh my god!
11 times the charm, getting the knockout at the very end, making it 4 knockdowns in the second round. Humble, you got to think that's going to be insulting.
Are these teammates?
No, I believe not. But Ricardo and Rara are probably good friends. Rara's always a fun fight, nonetheless.
The touching gloves. I'd nowhere near touch your glove if you did 11 hands over me.
That's 12.
I'm absolutely touch your glove. And absolutely
14.
I'm not even going to, there's a way you can get out of the way then, Rara. I'm surprised he does actually know it.
17.
Oh, you wouldn't do it as well. But yeah, this has been a crazy performance from Ricardo.
Jab, overhand 18, lands on the overhand scale. We've seen a couple others, 19 now.
He nearly gets caught. He nearly gets caught right there. He needs to be careful, though, because he takes 1 counter for those.
The uppercut is there. Ricardo Rara's trying, but he's just seeming like can't time it correctly. Elbow there, though. Double uppercuts. 21 overhands now, 5. 22, and he gets the finish.
Man. That's some disrespect right there.
That is some disrespect. That is some major disrespect. Ricardo's normally a respectful man. Rara's such a good opponent. He's such a good sport. And what do you come out and do? You throw 22 overhands.
But let's talk about it, right? Because it is off-putting, isn't it? Reaper, when someone's constantly throwing a similar move, you're like, he's not going to do that. He's going to throw a head kick. And he keeps doing it, and you're like, oh, and you doubt yourself to kind of counter that.
It's a good tactic. If your opponent isn't adapting to it or isn't doing anything major to it, you just keep doing it. It's like a head kick or a body kick. It normally leaves you getting countered. In this case, though, the overhanded doom is what made Rara collapse to the ground.
That being said, I'll let Reaper and Doc take you into the next few fights, because I will be fighting Big Balls Ned in the next couple of fights. I'm going to try and get myself ready for that because I need to, but enjoy the next couple of fights. We do have Be You Doing versus Purple Urkel, as Reaper mentioned a couple of minutes ago. That is a fantastic fight, and a teammate of mine, Be You Doing, been really working on his craft. Young kid, always trying to impress everybody, and Purple Urkel, a veteran of this game. That's going to be a banger. But from me, Mr. Humbledig, I'll see you soon, guys, and I'll see you after my fight.
Indeed, with Humble out of the booth, me and Reaper can get on to the rest of the card. We got Be You Doing versus Purple Urkel up next in the bantamweight division, Reaper.
No, I can't wait for this one, Doc. I'm excited for this. As I said earlier on, the gold standard for a striker versus grappler. But I'm surprised if he goes Jose Aldo, I will say. Jose Aldo obviously got some very, very good takedowns, got some good submissions. But, you know, Purple Urkel in the bantamweight division here, going with his go-to guy, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Purple's very, very dangerous with this fighter. I've seen him practice with this fighter a lot, and he's got some savage kickboxing combos, Doc.
Purple Urkel as McGregor. Aldo in the blue gloves with Be You Doing. I'm just going to call you Doing. It's going to be easier for me, or I may just call you Aldo. O'Malley, sorry, you know, somehow blanked on that one, thinking McGregor was in the bantamweight division. Interesting time. But O'Malley, again, got that kickboxing style, long reach, long pokey poke. Aldo, on the other hand, clean boxing and good, good effective leg kicks. Finally get my words out.
Oh, for sure, Doc. Come here, listen. If you're Purple Urkel, the game plan is simple. Use that long extended jab, get out of the pocket, and just, you know, have a clean fight. O'Malley's kind of known for his clean fighting style. He doesn't like to get too dirty, too grimy. The teeth, as you see, there's beautiful Purple straight away, trying to create that distance, Doc. But Be You Doing's doing a great job here, getting into the pocket and just kind of going hell for leather. I'd be very interested to see if we get to see this fight take the ground now, you know, because I was expecting it, but question mark kick, beautiful, Doc, that was.
Lovely question mark kick, ducks underneath the overhand hook, gets hit in the face by a flying knee, an elbow attempt, leg kick sticking down to the very glass shins of O'Malley. With 3 minutes 40 left on the clock, both of them are already going at it quite aggressively, Reaper.
Oh yeah, there is absolutely no feeling out process in this fight. These two must have been having a conversation or somewhat, because not when you come out in a fight, you kind of like to tend to feel each other out, get a feel in the first round. These two are not. Something must have been said between these two, because they are trying to decapitate each other like it's nobody's business, though.
They really are just going at it. The leg kicks of Aldo are coming out in a couple appearances, but the boxing from both opponents is the mainstay. A lovely takedown, though. Aldo changing the levels very quickly and effectively.
For sure, it was a beautiful power shot. Caught Purple Urkel completely off guard. Goes for the back take here. Now, we do know the rear naked choke from this position is banned in prime time, so he's going to have to either go for backside, as he does here. So, Doc, if you're a boy, you're doing, what are you trying to do here now? Are you looking to just maintain the position, or are you looking to do this ground and pound?
Well, you've got ground and pound, you've got back if you want to try again for the top man. You've also got back to mount, which is interesting. It can give you the position. Guess a lovely defense, so the hook cut doesn't land. The switch kick somewhat lands a knee there. Elbow over the top. 1 minute 40 left on the clock, Reaper, and both of them are still going at it. I feel like Aldo's having a bit more success all round.
Yeah, oh, beautiful spin. I agree completely, Doc. Aldo's just being the bit more the sharper fighter, right? You know, Purple's doing a great job, but for me, I feel like Purple's holding back a little bit. Like, he's really trying to make it known that he wants to win this fight. I feel like Purple's just a little bit confused at the minute by the takedowns and the kickboxing combos. And as you said, of course, Doc, the leg kicks, Jose Aldo's leg kicks can change a fight in an instant.
They really can. 1 or 2 shots in this game with very perfectly timed leg kicks, fantastic. It works even more on head movement. So when he commits a head movement and you just get a leg kick just nicely timed, they're going to be in for a hell of a lot of trouble. Armbar attempt though by Mali coming with 20 seconds left. It's evidently just trying to get something on the scorecards, but hey, it is looking good.
It is looking good, and I know Purple's been working on his submissions as of late, so you know what, wouldn't surprise me if he can get the stamina down, work the body a little bit, then, you know, see where things go from there. But that's round 1 done and dusted. You know, it's been a very, very back and forth bout, right, Doc? We talked about it yesterday, almost like a tennis match. It's going back and forth as the rally's going back and forth. It's only ever building, and this fight is just going to keep building. Beautiful flying knee there, Doc, as well in the replay.
Flying knee there was always a fun time. Did chunk a lot of his head tail. And now a touch of gloves to start the second round. Already a hook being fired off. A front kick attempt to flying knee nearly ducks into it. Oh god, this is a scary momentum already. That spinning back fist knocked down, going straight into this heavy ground and pound. Gets a finish.
Oh, there we are.
I was way I wanted to say get to finish. He just didn't quite finish him, but did finally get him, Reaper.
He did. He got him with that jab and then the spinning back fist. You know, it was completely unexpected. Purple stayed in the pocket a little bit too long, you know, and he paid the price for it. But boy, you're doing good performance. Now look really good tonight. Both competitors look really good tonight. It was just Jose Aldo carries that power to change it in one shot, Doc.
Yeah, Aldo really just has that constant boxing ability. He may be a kickboxer at heart, may be able to kick your legs out, but you always have to be wary of that punch power, because that punch power is going to land 1 or 2 shots and you're going to be out of it very quickly. With that being said, Reaper, I'm going to introduce the next fight of this evening.
Absolutely, and this is going to be a good fight. You got Warbsy taking on Toasty Toast. This is going to be a good fight, Doc. Looks like it's in the... Am I right? What is that, Doc? I cannot see that right in there. What weight class is that?
Having to get your binoculars out, I see. It is in the welterweight division. Warbsy part of the BFAP camp. Toasty Toast part of TMF. Always an interesting sign. We've seen Toasty multiple times. I believe his last fight was against Tarun, where he had about a 3 to a 4-piece combo thrown in his face non-stop by the person we see him later just after the Humble fight. Hopefully these two are ready. Making weight has cut down and we should be getting into this. Maybe seeing a Thompson pick.
You know, it's always good to see a Thompson pick. And you see a McGregor pick there at the welterweight division. You don't see a lot of that. I would personally
enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to enjoy it. It's always nice to see a fellow Irishman step into the cage, Doc. You know, I would like to see the welterweight go Kobe Covington make an appearance tonight, but you know, we still haven't had it yet. So, but this is going to be an absolute kickboxing war. We're going to see some very fancy kicks, some high-paced action, and I'm going to predict it here, Doc. I'm going to say a spinning heel kick second round KO from one of these gentlemen.
McGregor coming out and spinning wheel kicks. Thompson will be an interesting time. Both of them staying fairly patient in this first round. Warbsy already looking to move his head off the line. So is Toasty, but a couple uppercuts trade. The punch power of McGregor already making itself known within the first 30 seconds or so.
Oh, absolutely. And listen, you know, Conor McGregor has the power to change a fight. McGregor could change the course of a fight in the heavyweight division with that left hand, you know? He could give Francis Ngannou a run for his money if he piled on the way. But, you know, it's a good tech. There's the overhand again.
I mean, we saw BFAB Slick use that type of pivot lunge earlier on. Evidently, they've been trained the same way, Warbsy being part of the same camp. And it worked so much better, about as well as it did for... Oh, this is just an incredible defense masterclass by Wobbsy here. He's having so much success with that boxing, with the Major lodging out the way. Tornado kick fires ducks under the straight, and 3 minutes left on the clock. 3 knockdowns in favour of Wobbsy, if I'm not mistaken, Reaper. It's going to be a hell of a fight.
You're spot on, Doc. There's that left hand shot, Doc. Nobody can take that left hand shot.
They really can't. That left-hander's got all the power in its gunner, and looks like it has put Thompson's lights out for good.
Oh, you love to see Conor McGregor get a win in the octagon. You got to feel for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson though as well. It's tough tough seeing that man go out cold, Doc.
It really is tough to see him out. He'd had such a massive success, but Wobbsy's defense was so on point during the entirety of that.
Absolutely, Doc. You're absolutely spot on. And Doc, going into the next fight, we have KA Humble, Doc, our broadcast partner, fighting here next. I'm excited, to see this man fight, because last week, Doc, he put me out cold. So
he put you out cold. It's always an interesting time. You know how Humble fights. I fought Humble myself. My first ever fight with him, I managed to get tornado kicked unconscious. It's a very interesting and fun time. Oh, just waiting to get the stream up. I have finally got it up. That's just me being a blind person. Although we have been watching fights non-stop. Should be good to go now, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I cannot wait. Featherweight division, Anthony Pettis, Calvin Kattar. Kickboxer versus the self-proclaimed best boxer in the UFC, Doc.
We saw the best boxer in the UFC went up against it was Max Holloway, dodging every strike Kattar threw in that 5th round, going Super Saiyan, coming back and just talking to the commentary as he's punching the poor sod. Maybe the second best would be the best statement. Anyhow, we got Pettis versus Kattar. We know both of these fighters are already big balls Ned, with the big balls KO Humble being the humble one in quotation. So Dammer, Eve Levine as the ref. Should be an interesting time, Reaper.
Oh, this is going to be a fantastic fight. I can't wait for this. This is a dream matchup. This is here. You have, Big Balls Ned. He's a very aggressive fighter, but the only problem I can see with Big Balls Ned is when you put him on the back foot, Doc. He doesn't like that too much. He doesn't fight too well off the back foot. When I fought him, I was able to keep him on the back foot for 3 rounds and land a KO shot. And then it was, we had the rematch and he took me out. He did, but he's a good. Oh, and as I say that, he gets the rock and Humbles down.
Humble needs to calm down. He needs to reorientate himself. He needs to work out what he's doing, because otherwise it's going to have a bit of an issue. Couple needs that body is scared. Ned away from the clinch work. Double a 2-touch there, just landing very cleanly. Now with 3 minutes left, 3 minutes 40 on the clock, it's already looking like Humble's made the right adjustments and looking to come back.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, Humble's definitely calmed himself down now. He's relying more on his straight combinations and he's putting kicks now at the end of his combinations. He's trying to keep that range. Pettis doesn't have the best body health. I don't really like him staying in the pocket too much. But maybe Humble knows something we don't know. As I said, Doc, Ned's not really one of the best to fight off the back foot. So maybe Humble's seen a weakness. Maybe he's seen a chink in the armor. Oh, Jesus.
He went to pull back, got clipped with a spinning back fist. The uppercut clips in there as he goes for a combo, and now we dig down to that body cam and evidently wanting to put on a boxing showcase here. Pettis' health is already massively suffering, Reaper.
For sure, Doc. It's not looking the best at all right now. Humble needs to oh my goodness, what a straight. That could be it. It's getting close. That's going to be it. Is that it?
Oh.
No, it's over.
That's gonna be rough.
That's definitely gonna be rough. I know Humble will be disappointed with that one, but no need. Big Balls Ned is a great fighter. He's a great competitor. So that's a big win for Big Balls Ned there. I'm just gonna call him Ned because I feel strange saying the big balls. Ned is a very, very accomplished fighter in this league, So I think people forget that sometimes of how good he actually is, and that was a good performance against Humble Ding, and you got to feel for Humble. I'm sure he'll come back next time even stronger. That'll light a fire in his belly for sure, Doc.
Yeah, it's always an interesting time. It's just sometimes the case you look a bit unsteady, and hey, that's the way it goes.
Yo,
It's good to see you back. How's the head?
I'm a bit dizzy. I'm a bit dizzy right now. I'm a bit dizzy. I took a bit of a beating right there. Well done to Ned stepping in. Thank you for stepping in short notice. I was supposed to fight as a goat, and it didn't quite work. But Ned had a great game plan there. I couldn't get going. You know how that is. I had my off day there, and that's kind of how it went. No discredit to Ned. He just battered the shit out of me as he's supposed to. Great fight though. Let's go to the next one. I just wish I could have performed a bit better. But anyway, Noggin versus Haroom is the next fight. Doctor, tell us a bit about this one.
I feel like apologies, whilst I work out what's going on in the back. It seems like we've got Noggin versus Caliber. Haroom seems to have not been able to make weight, and so instead we get the ever mighty KM Caliber making his return to PT after a long suspension, with Noggin in the blue corner.
Yeah, this is a great fight. Caliber's a top level striker. Noggin's been on a tear lately. I think Noggin is 5-1 if I'm not mistaken. He's got 5 wins in a row, Doctor, though. I believe he's like top 5 at the moment, but he's going to be fighting these guys from now on who are going to be top level competition, and Caliber's just that. He's going to be able to come out there and he's going to be able to throw anything he wants to kind of put his opponent away. And Reaper, what do you make of the pick of Dan Ige versus Conor McGregor?
You know, I was just thinking when I seen him picking it, I was like, KM Caliber, he loves putting himself behind the 8 ball. I believe we seen it last night as well. But you know what? I respect it. He's obviously picked Dan Ige because he's very, very comfortable with him. So it just depends on what our McGregor pick can do here, what Noggin can do with Conor McGregor. You know, he's a hard fighter to use, Humble.
Yeah, he definitely is a hard fighter to use. But as we know, people have their niche characters, and maybe that's one we're about to see, Doc. Doctor seems to lost him behind the Harry Potter invisible cape right there.
Maybe we'll try and do a surgery whilst commentating. It's always an interesting time. Here we see Dan Ige as an interesting pick. That's definitely a Caliber pick through and through. He's using the head movement currently, staying fairly patient. He's looking for the McGregor to make a mistake and just come back and put the beating on him, Reaper.
Ooh, that was beautiful. Absolutely, for sure. Listen, come here. KM Caliber is one of those guys that could use Diego Sanchez against Conor McGregor and he could make it look effortless, you know. But Noggin, he's fighting well. He's putting the pressure on. He's getting out of range when he needs to. He's making sure his stamina is remaining high. He's not throwing any wasted movement, which is good. It's a beautiful 1-2 body kick there, though, from KM Caliber. And now he's pushing the pace, Humble.
Yeah, he is pushing the pace, and great work from Caliber at the moment to just get out of range where he needs to. The issue I've got with this is Noggin's going to do some effective damage to the block or to the head with Conor McGregor compared to the Caliber. So Caliber's got to be careful. He's got to be defensively sound throughout this round, especially going forward. But he is landing a lot of offense at the moment, Doctor, which is catching Noggin.
Yeah, Noggin's coming forward every time, though. Caliber's just managing to fire the shots back. That straight is tracking. It's never fantastic on the head movement. I've never particularly liked it. I can imagine KM Caliber's thinking the same thing. 2 minutes 40 left on the clock, and they're both still going out of it, trying 3 freezes in the pocket.
Absolutely, Doug. And you can see here now Conor McGregor taken back into the centre. He just had him up against the cage there and let him off a little bit. Wanted to regain his stamina so he can go absolutely nuts. That was a beautiful head kick there from KM Caliber.
This is a lovely job here by Caliber making the comeback. He's got the power. It shows. McGregor needs to start looking for something. He was the one knocked down. Now a takedown by Ige. This is going to be a very interesting time for Caliber to start working, Humble.
Yeah, very good time for Caliber to start working. But he's done a fantastic job on the feet so far, which is kind of unexpected against the likes of a Conor McGregor pick. But, you know, you can tell he's very comfortable with this pick, and you get that by repetition. Repetition equals confidence, and confidence is oozing out of Caliber's performance so far.
Absolutely spot on there, Humble. And as well, I said this last night, and I'll say it again tonight. You should fear McGregor's ground game as much as you fear Dominic Cruz's KO power. You know, so this is a great spot for KM Caliber here right now. Has McGregor on the bottom, staying in side control, and we're back. A couple of knees going into the sprawl position here now. KM Caliber is looking very, very clean this first round here. He's had a really good performance, got the knockdown, and now he's controlling on the ground. that's a big confidence boost, Doc, I got to imagine.
Indeed it is a good confidence boost there. Giving him the side control at the end doesn't really particularly matter. 5 seconds left. Kicks that body a few times if you want to, but doesn't matter. Caliber now got the knockdown, probably secured the win against the McGregor. It secured the first round against the McGregor. It's going to be an interesting time. Just got to make sure that he stays that defensively sound, stays sound offensively as well, so he doesn't get caught humble, and that may be how Caliber wins.
Yeah, we'll have less of this Dominic Cruz's power because he's got 7 KOs on his record. So you guys can fuck off when you talk about. Anyway, I'm joking. But Caliber coming out firing right now as he comes through and lands some nice big shots right there. Big shot! Catches him with the rear hook right there, and now he's going to get to work on the ground. And Noggin has got to change it up right now. He is in. I know how he's feeling right now. Suffocation. I've just felt it a second ago. Trust me, it's not a nice feeling. And Caliber is taking advantage of that. Reap.
Caliber does. Caliber does
no,
it.
for sure.
Go ahead,
you go ahead, Doc.
No, go ahead.
You go ahead, Doc. You sure? All right, I'll go ahead. So, miscommunication there. Anyway, we'll keep it going. KM Caliber looking great here. You know, he's got the back kind of, he's got the side back sitting here, so he's looking well here. And you know, I'm feeling a little bit sad here for Noggin because he had a very good opening in the first round. You know, he had a very good strategy, push the pace, keep Caliber up against the fence and work his combinations. And since then, he's kind of diverted that. He's seems to be more focused on fighting in the centre of the cage, which is obviously not very good when you're giving Dan Ige a lot of space to move and play footsies with, Doc, I'd imagine.
It really isn't. Now we end up in sprawl again to get a backside transition here. Always a lovely thing to see. Goes to the backside take, doesn't get it into side control. Stream has stopped partly. Whatever position that is in the pixelated mess. Now we're into the half guard and 2 minutes 30 left on the clock.
Just to clarify, it's not PT's broadcast that's going wrong. It's just the stream of the fighters. Fortunately, we still don't have an esports mode from UFC esports. EA, but please give us one so we can watch without asking fighters to stream themselves, so we can actually watch the fights live. That'd be fantastic. But great work so far from Caliber. I've been incredibly impressed with this performance. He did message me earlier on saying he wanted to fill in, and he got a top opponent in Noggin, and he's making light work of it so far, Reaper.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, KM is just, he's always impressive, no matter what he's doing in the fight, whatever area the fight is in, he always looks impressive, whether it's his defensive head movement, whether it's his offensive kickboxing or his offensive wrestling. You know, he really is the full fighter. If you really take a look at him, he really is the full fighter, Doc. And Noggin is having a bit of a trouble here on the ground, which was going to be expected with the McGregor pick.
Yeah, the McGregor pick's always going to have a bit of trouble on the ground. That's a lot of shots to the head undefended. Narrowly avoids getting the finish there. And now Caliber again. He's staying patient. He knows he won the round because he got that knockdown early on. Reversed though. Caliber going to be aggressive. He knows he's only got 30 seconds left. There isn't much a McGregor can really do unless you are really clumsy.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Noggin comes back from this one. I really will, because of the way Caliber's been fighting so far. It's been a technical masterclass so far, and he's just a bit like Dirty Dave's performance earlier on. He's kind of refused the risk, right? He's managed his opponent's expectations, and he's refused the risk of kind of being in the pocket or being in a position where he can be damaged, and he's just done a fantastic job in every area, and he's mainly utilised and capitalised on the grappling sequences to kind of limit McGregor's on the stand-up department as well, Reaper.
Yeah, definitely, you're spot on. You know, I think I compared Caliber to the Floyd Mayweather. You know, he takes round one, he collects your data, and then round 2 and 3 is all him. And that's what it's been this fight. As hard it is to say that for Noggin, it really has been all KM Caliber showing up and showing out, Doc. Yeah,
he's stayed very patient and he doesn't care if he gets a decision or a KO. To mention your reference to someone like Dirty Dave, I believe these two do fight a lot. So to say they have a similar play style is probably a compliment to both. We did just pause on the stun of Caliber. Caliber nearly dropped there. Oh, that's a wild one.
Nice work right there in the pocket. He's got his opponent back ends to the fight for KM Caliber. Beautiful finish in the third round, Reaper.
Oh, for sure. Come here. Look, he didn't need 22 overhands to end the fight. He just needed the one. Placed it right on the dome of Conor McGregor. Put him out cold. He's currently napping in the netherworld, though.
Jab to the body, comes up top, makes Noggin think he's going to go a bit down and lands that heavy overhand, getting the clean finish.
And just to mix this up as well a bit, Reaper, what do you make of there's 2 cards next week? Obviously we have the Grand Prix for both events, for the Xbox and the PlayStation, and every guy tonight apart from the main event who's fighting for the belt are kind of fighting for position in that Grand Prix. Obviously if you're in that top 15, you're going to get a guaranteed place if you do sign up. So what do you make of that, these guys kind of fighting it out for that position?
You know, when you put it like that, Humble, you know, that changes the whole dynamic of these fights, right? So if the lads know this before their fight kicks off, they're going into that with the back of the head that a win propels them into the Grand Prix, which, as you said, is for the Xbox and the PlayStation Championship. And that's why you do this, right? You want to be the champion. So, hey, look, that's what you want to do, Doc. You need to go in with that mindset, need to win.
Yeah, up next, we got one of those fights, Andy Ray versus BMF Story, and this is probably going to be one of the fights that's going to dictate if you get into the GP, if you don't on the PS side. And we're in the lightweight division. Maybe we'll see a McGregor pick again. It will be an interesting time if we do. It's been a lot of McGregor. But that is to be known. We do have a bantamweight fight to finish off this season.
Yeah, we got Andy Ray versus Stoyan. Stoyan, I believe, is currently sitting at 2-0, and Andy Ray is currently sitting at 2-1. Current loss to Karts, as we've seen the Karts earlier on. Karts is one of those fighters who can beat anyone on his day, just come up against a really good opponent in Dirty Dave today. But Andy Ray, in his first 2 performances, impressed us nonetheless with some fantastic blowouts in his first 2 wins. And Stoyan, a top competitor, an ESFL guy, very high ranked in the cage rage community, and somebody that's not to be messed with. He has his off days, but at the same time, when he's on, he is on fire. So this is going to be a fantastic fight, Reaper, in my opinion.
Oh, this is going to be a fantastic fight. And as you said there, Andy Ray, straight away, he's even outdoing Khamzat Chimaev. You know, Khamzat Chimaev waits a couple of days to have a fight, you know. Andy Ray says, hey, give me 24 hours, I'll go again. And it doesn't look like it was the right idea because he's rocked already.
Damn, he got caught right there. He's starting to go to the body. And McGregor's starting to take the lead of the octagon. As I said that, they switch around, Doctor.
It's a very interesting back and forth fight. Both of them have their own advantages per se. McGregor more on the feet, Poirier more on the grappling department in this matchup. But also remember, Poirier's got the hands, Reaper, and he can reap.
Oh, he can reap all he wants. Both of these men have KO power for days, you know. Poirier, maybe the little bit more kind of preferred fighter to use over the McGregor. You know, you've got the stamina there that you can lean on if you're Poirier. So that's why I always go Poirier over McGregor. But, you know, some people just have that bread and butter with Conor McGregor's stance, his animations, and they just make it work for them, Humble.
Yeah, it's that 98 power as well. You know, the disgusting power of Conor McGregor can end a fight at any point. And if you've got the kicks as well, it's the dexterity of Conor's attack hasn't been kind of taken away, even though he doesn't kind of use it as much as he used to. But Andy Ray doing a really good job of backing his opponent up at the moment and kind of making him miss as well. I'm noticing Stoyan was throwing some 4 pieces and some 3 pieces, which he was whiffing slightly. He needs to make some adjustments right there, or that stamina is going to drain in the near future, Doc.
I mean, he is gassing slightly, but every time you see Stoyan, just imagine digs that body with that straight and it's chunking Andy Ray's stam. You see it again, working that as he stams low with that jab straight, digs down to that body like so, Andy Ray does, but he doesn't get as much cardio damage as Stoyan's doing. That stun there, though, does land nicely with the power straight of McGregor, Reaper.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Stoyan's having a show-out performance here. He's moving his head off the center line. He's very rarely getting caught, and he's catching Andy Ray on the way in. Ooh. That was beautiful. But as you know, if you're catching a fighter on the way in, they're moving all their momentum into your punch, Humble. So you can say it's 98 power, but when you're moving forward against a standing still McGregor in the right posture, you're getting 100% power there. It's almost like Francis Ngannou hitting you.
Yeah, 100%. You are correct. The momentum can kind of change a fight at any point, and that's kind of what Stoyan's kind of doing at the moment. But Andy Ray doing a good job of just touching his opponent coming forward. He is coming into the power, as you said, but he's also feinting his way in sometimes and making his opponent miss. I do believe he was going to legs early in that fight as well, but it's been a great performance from Andy Ray right now. And Stoyan, though, is just trying to gather his thoughts, Doctor, but he's not getting a moment to do so.
Ooh. Yeah, neither of them are really getting the time to gather their thoughts. I feel like Andy Ray's more fighting on instinct than technique. Stoyan, on the other hand, is leading the fight, so he's getting that chance to use a bit of that technique. You can see it with the jabs, just the way he's working that round, especially when you look at Andy Ray's cardio as well. Reaper, I feel like Andy Ray just needs to calm down, recenter himself. Hopefully he can do that in between rounds and just look to lead the fight instead of playing the second fiddle.
Yeah, for sure, Doc. You know, he looks kind of out of sorts, does Andy Ray. It's almost like he's nervous. He's fighting like he's nervous. He's pushing the pace as hard as he can, and he's just throwing every shot from the shoulder, and he's just looking to take McGregor's head off with every single shot he's throwing. You know, he's not really setting up his shots. He's not really using his, as Humble said, his leg kicks anymore that had some success at the start of the first round. So I think he needs to get back to basics, and he just needs to calm himself down. He has 3 rounds. There's no rush to finish the fight. You're still in good shape with your stamina, so maybe start touching up the body of McGregor Humble a little bit. Yeah,
definitely. He just needs to he's made some reads. Maybe he's going to be a bit more tentative in this one. I do think he might have won the first round, though. He was the busier fighter. I don't believe there was any rockdowns or knockdowns apiece. But Stoyan just doing a good job at the moment of being calm, trying to pick his shots and looking for that opening. He just has to be cautious that he doesn't leave it too late before going for that opening, Doc, and kind of let Andy Ray run away with it on the points.
A jab there, a straight there follows suit. McGregor is just looking for it all.
McGregor's doing a great job of keeping it long. The jabs, the straights, the body straights. He's really mixing it up well. You know, he got the uppercut into the lead hook to the body. He's really keeping Andy Ray on his P's and Q's here. And I think Andy, you know what, Andy, I think shooting for the takedown might not be out of sorts for you right now, Doc. What do you think?
I mean, if I'm Andy Ray, shooting for a takedown does sound like a good plan. The only issue with that, I would say, is the cardio. Is just purely the cardio. When you've got the cardio decrease, it's going to give you an issue. That's exactly what he does, though. Doesn't get it, sadly. And the hook does land, and it may be beneficial if he can keep him pinned against it, but give him space to come back out.
Yeah, he was nice, though, because he did mix it up, and that kind of left an opening. But at the same time, grappling does take a bit more stamina than striking, and you know, especially when he's getting those denials right there. Stoyan's in a great position right now to do some damage. He goes to the head twice, comes up with the uppercut, goes to the body twice, and there's a big body damage right there for Stoyan. And Stoyan hits him with the elbow, goes to the body, goes back to the head. Is Stoyan going to finish him right now? We will see Reaper in the next minute and a half.
Oh, he's rocked again.
Overhand. Got a bit scared there for a second.
Well, Stoyan is having a performance right now. Oh, and the lead, or the straight, excuse me, that straight of Conor McGregor puts everyone out. And you know, Andy Ray's doing a great job of surviving in this fight. I'm going to give him his respect here and say he's doing a great job of surviving. He's not losing confidence. You know, he's still willing to try. Oh,
he catches him. He says, "Fuck your respect. I'm going to try and knock him out." And it nearly catches Stoyan. Just zigging when he's supposed to be zagging. You know, Stoyan's got to be careful. He's still dangerous. And he was walking into the opposite end of the power. Maybe.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
He walked straight into that power. He zigged when he should have zagged, to quote you, on the Stoyan's end instead. Though Andy Ray did that, going straight into that hook.
Great fight right there from both guys there. Andy Ray was a bit, as you said, he was a bit too. I did the same thing against Ned, you know. I just wasn't quite composed enough. I wasn't trying to make a feeling out process, and I felt like Andy Ray was kind of in a similar stack shit with myself. It's just I got caught a lot more than he did. So he did a good job of kind of going through that first time, but great performance from Stoyan to make those adjustments, Reaper.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like he had so much adversity in that second round. And then to even get the rocking story and pull it back a little bit, right, shooting for the takedown, catching him with the lead hook when the stamina was low, you could kind of see him kind of just getting himself settled finally. He'd finally figured out a rhythm after he hit him with the slip straight, and Stoyan said, "Yeah, well, that's fun, but I have to go, mate, because I need into that GP, pal."
100%. And that being said, that's going to lead us on to the co-main and the main event. And these are two fantastic fights. We got Trixie in the main event versus Muffet Man for the Xbox title. And in the co-main event, we got Jakey B versus Fadinator. And I do believe we're going to have Doctor leading us on into these two fights.
I would have done.
But they start.
Yeah.
It's okay, Doctor. Just talk over it. Go.
I would have. Tonight's co-main event will showcase two fighters on the brink of glory. FSK Fadinator, the former champ, a man so devastating takes an elite fighter of that caliber to challenge him. Jakey B is that challenger, fighter who's shown that heart can prevail, that believe in yourself can take you to great heights. Can Fadinator put himself back into the title contention, or can Jakey B come back and show Primetime what it means to be the heart of the octagon? This is the co-main event.
Let's go. So these two have come out firing. They obviously started a bit quicker, a bit eager, as we like to say, Reaper. And these two are firing back and forth in the centre of the octagon. And I can't believe we've got another Poirier versus McGregor pick. This is ridiculous tonight. What is going on?
This is crazy. This is a lot of lightweight, and we're getting Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, the trilogy again tonight. This is the third time I believe we've seen this fight.
It feels like 50th.
Just doing the UFC's job for them, humble, you know.
I never want to see that fight again. I never want to see it again. But these guys going at it, throwing at their head at the moment. Jakey B having trouble finding it, doing what he does. He's just caught his opponent right on the chin, and he's trying to get his opponent to be reactive instead of proactive. And every time Jakey B goes for something, Fadinator lands big, Doctor.
Fadinator is landing big as he looks for the counter. The power of McGregor is here to stay all night, and so is Poirier. Lovely little head movement there, switching from side to side, doesn't get anything stuck from there. Both of them are just throwing mental combos, Reaper.
Oh yeah, come here. These guys do not engage in the feeling out process. It's simply, I will meet you in the middle of the cage, and we will swing, and we will see which one of us falls first, humble.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm trying to, because Fadinator is kind of trying to bait some shots, right? But obviously you've got to be careful, because exactly that can happen to you. And he gets caught with a massive shot, and Jakey B's trying to come off an actual loss to Pudgy. Even I believe he was winning that fight, and Pudgy came back out of nowhere. But Fadinator is now coming. Nearly catches him with a pull. He's got to be careful. He's still rocked, and Conor McGregor's after him. Fadinator's trying to hurt his opponent again, and these two have had multiple rocks in each round, Doctor.
Both of them have died. Uppercut there, straight follows suit. Another straight, slipping off to the side. A minute left on this clock. It feels like they've already been fighting for 2 rounds with how much of a pace they've been putting on us. And both of them are just non-stop and going back and forth.
Oh yeah, like my heart, my heart is doing palpitations watching this fight. They just don't care. They'll throw everything and the kitchen sink at you, humble.
Oh yeah, the defense is off to the window as Jakey P gets knocked down right there, and now he's going to have a chance to finish. And is he going to be able to turn his opponent? He is. He's in a great position right now to do some damage on Fadinator, and this is an absolute back and forth war. Fadinator is about to get finished. He gets back to his feet. What the hell is happening?
That happened. And there's a reason this is the co-main event. Both of them back and forth just there. You saw Jakey nearly get finished by Fadinator. Jakey gets a reversal, nearly finished Fad narrowly avoids on the defense, and we go straight into the second round, humble.
The defense is none kaput at the moment. These guys are completely just all offense. You can see that right there. Who can land first? And Fadinator lands the first blow in this round. He's going to get the ground and pound again. He's going for the finish. Great work from Jakey B to manage that at the moment, Reaper, but he's on the brink of survival right now, and he needs to do something to turn this fight around.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, sometimes you'd say after a first round like that, the fighters really need time to recollect themselves. I feel like after that first round, we need to recollect ourselves. You know, it's like they didn't want to go back to their corners and have a rest. They just wanted to punch the head out each other. We need the breather here, but as you were saying there, Humble, what does he need to do? He needs to stop getting clipped on the chin by that left hand from Fad, and he might be all right.
I don't know about yourself, Reaper, but I'm on this roller coaster. I've got my hands up, and I'm enjoying the ride at the moment. Don't slow this down for me. I'm very, very excited, and I'm enjoying the ride. So, Doctor, they have kind of slowed it down at the moment, and you know, I'm not expecting this as Fadane goes back for some more ground and pound.
I mean, it's purely you've got two very skilled fighters. We've seen it on the feet. As much as they do seem to just be going balls to the walls and have no technique, they are two very skilled fighters. Jakey knows the grappling aspect, and so does Fad. And this is kind of the way you want to play it. You see Jakey's head, it's fairly low. Fad's health is getting to that point, so if he can get these couple denials, get these elbows down, make that head blinking by the time he's back up on the feet, then you have a very secure end of the second into the third round.
Yeah, spot on, Doc. And as you can see there, I'm just looking at the health. You know, the head health for both gentlemen is quite low. The body's barely been touched. The legs have barely been touched. This has been a head hunting type of fight. These are two men that want that bragging right going into the Grand Prix, right? They want that to kind of say, hey, you know what? I beat you. Meet me there again, almost, right, Humble?
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of I like that sort of mentality as well. And Fadane is doing the first adjustment of kind of slowing it down slightly. He's doing a great job with McGregor on top at the moment. He's just picking away some shots from JKB, and that could be the difference in this fight. The more educated fighter going for the ground and pound to try and neutralise your opponent, to chip away. When you get back to the feet, you only need one or two big shots to kind of take him out, and JKB is in trouble right now. Is he going to get ground and pound again? Yes, he is, Doctor.
Oh, very close. Jakey's defense only just staying tight. That head health now blinking non-stop. Gets the back. Oh, Poirier could even go for some shots here. He does so. Gets him into the top mount. Denies him, I feel like. Gets a deny on the half guard. Oh, this is a scary place.
Fad's grappling is filthy. It's filthy, and he's using Conor McGregor and he's controlling Dustin Poirier like this. You know, fair play to Jakey, though. He's not giving up. Gets the reversal of the position. Now, Humble, you're Jakey. You're on top. What are you looking to do here?
Probably see out the round and not take much damage because but he goes for the posture up and he gets denied because Fadane obviously knows that's coming. I would have threw some shots in there and tried posture up first. He did have 10 seconds. He was a bit too eager, and I think that's the problem. The amount of anticipation going into this one. Your stamina's pretty good. Your head health's trash. You've got to avoid the strikes of Fadane, and you've got to kind of get him early with a big slip because you're not going to be able to take too much to your block because it's going to bleed through, and you're going to go down to the floor where he's going to get the ground and pound and eventually finish you, Doc.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic job. It's just a very effective, very slow pace, and both of them are going at it again. We've seen the grappling aspect using McGregor. Now he can start putting on the damage.
Oh, here it is.
This could be it. That's it. And Fadane takes the win. Good fight, great fight. You know, we got to see a lot of stuff in that fight. We got to see hectic, we got to see wrestling, and then we got to see a more controlled kind of fight from Fad. Once he slowed it down on the feet, he was able to pick his shots a bit more humble and eventually get that KO.
Yeah, he came out absolutely firing and tried to take his opponent, and nearly cost him because he got reversed, ends up in mount, and his opponent he was about one shot away from finishing him as well. And you know, Fadane got out with that last one shot. That could have been a very different call, a very different decision that we would have been talking about into that one. It would have been the mistake of Fadane that would have cost him. And then we see the adjustment in the second round because he realised the danger in Jakey, and he made the correct adjustment in my opinion, and that's what good players and ex-champions do, Doctor.
It really, really is. Ex-champions beware. Because up next...
Oh, here we go.
Every fighter dreams of hearing the words "and new." And for tonight's number one contender for the Xbox champion, the Moffat man dreams of hearing these words. But in order to hear the statements he's longed for since the beginning of Primetime's inception, he must walk through the fires of hell, engulf himself in the flames, and make it through to the other side. He must go head to head with the current reigning champion, the phenomenon, EK Trixie. BFAP now, actually. A man who has become the wrecking ball, the ace in the hand since returning for the Xbox division, who has felt a trail of murder's row in his path. A man so well diverse he crumbles the competition with his devastating wrestling and quick combination. We've seen him versus Fad so many times, and he's always come out on top. Two fighters will enter the octagon. One will earn the right to call himself the champion. The other will be sent home without the gold.
Here we go, the main event of Primetime 45. Trixie versus Moffat Man. Let's get these guys in the octagon. We've got a P.E. Ann versus P.E. Ann matchup, Reaper. This is going to be an absolute banger. I'm excited for this one. What do you make of it?
I'm actually nervous. You know, I don't get nervous a lot. I kind of get nervous when I'm fighting, but, you know, when Trixie's fighting, I'm just nervous. It's like, holy shit, like, this is going to happen, like that.
Yeah, no, it's such a fun time. Trixie's always puts on the good fights, always does it. We saw his previous title challenger win, Fad. We know how the fights go with Fad. Fad's tried over and over again. He always puts on good fights, always so close. Now, will Moffat Man be able to stand up to contention? Will the Aussie fight be worth it? We hope so. Let's look for a 5-round war with Yan versus Yan Mirror. In the red gloves, we have Moffat Man. In the blue gloves, we have Trixie. Without further ado, let's get straight into this.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to look at the record of Moffat Man and the people he's beat to get to this position. People like Dale Denton, people like Fatal Gold Voltage, Ginga, Tadpole, Moffat Man. The only loss he's got at the moment in a long while in a string of wins is Pudgy. He's difficult to deal with. He's one of those people that doesn't fight very conventional. And if he's losing, he's not afraid to mix it up and use some of the so-called cheese, which annoys his opponent and gets in the head. So Trixie's got to be careful right now, because even if he thinks he's winning this fight, you know, Moffat Man could be still in it and he will do anything to win.
Here we see already, though, against the cage, attempted a takedown. This is going to be a slow and steady path to victory, I feel like. Drags him down, and we get to see Trixie's grappling already.
Yeah, you know, it's great. This is where Trixie's bread and butter is. You know, he loves his ground game, and he's got that smothering Khabib style of just grounding you out and making it gritty and a dirty fight for you. And especially this early on, Humble, you know, if you're Moffat Man, you want back up. You know, you want back up to the feet. You're not accepting these takedowns.
He's still good on the ground, though, but it's obviously who's on top, right? And as you're saying there, Reaper, and, you know, we've seen it a second ago with Fad and it of kind of chipping away at your opponent and making sure the ground kind of counts to the overall stats, because you can chip away at your opponent, and when you do get back to the feet, if you're exchanging and you're both kind of at an equal pace, when your shots land, they're going to be more effective because your opponent head held a bit lower. So that's kind of a great strategy and a really high level and elite kind of strategy that a lot of people use, and that's exactly what you're about to speak of right there. And Doctor, what are you seeing right now?
I'm so far seeing you started out with Trixie using that jab effectively. He's going back to it, making sure to keep that steady pace. He's constantly in and out of that pocket, reorienting himself, just making sure that he's calm, collected, and needed. Moffat Man, on the other hand, again, this is probably the most scared we've seen the Moffat Man for saying he's the Moffat Man. A straight there clips of leg kick in retaliation. 2 minutes left on the clock, Reaper, and it seems to be very much a very slow feeding out process.
It is, isn't it? It's really methodical. Like, you know, you can see that Trixie, every time after he finishes a combination, he moves out of range and he resets and he thinks about the next combination, while Moffat Man's standing there saying, come on, come in here. I dare you to come into the pack with me, Humble.
Yeah, did you say he was scared, Doctor? Did you say the Moffat Man was scared? I don't think the Moffat Man is scared. This man is in the centre of the octagon, baiting his opponent, and just like he just said that, and he's trying to get some offense, but obviously Trixie's too smart for that, right? Trixie's he's a champion for a reason. He's the type of person. I hope this doesn't continue to affect these guys going forward, but he's a champion for a reason, and he's very methodical. He knows how to fight 5-round fights. He knows how to kind of pace himself, and that's exactly what he's trying to do right now. But Moffat Man going for the leg again, checked right there, Doctor.
Another takedown there, lovely job. 40 seconds left on the clock. That's most likely secured the round if Moffat Man can't get back up and showcase his abilities here.
Having some connection problems right now, Reaper. That can affect the fighting itself. You know how frustrated you can get if you're fighting an opponent and the connection's not quite going how you want it to go. I'm not sure what the issue is right now, but how do you usually comprehend and deal with this?
Oh God! Listen, when I get lag from my league fights, I close my eyes, count to 10, and I tell myself I'm not gonna break my PlayStation Humble. But you know, it can always be effective, the lag can, in these type of fights, especially a fight of this magnitude, right? If you're a Moffat Man and you're EK Trixie, you know, you're in an Xbox title fight in the Primetime main event, and you have lag to suffer, you Doc. It's got to be frustrating.
I mean, can I just point out we were 3 to 17 significant strikes? Jesus, we have never seen Trixie come out so aggressive. Second round's is always his best round. Might I point out he did close out his last GP, his last win of the season in about the second round, if I remember correctly. So if he does it again, it's evidently he wants to make it a reoccurrence.
Yeah, this is going at a slow pace because of the connection. But Trixie what I've noticed in this fight so far is Trixie's doing a great job of utilising his jab, especially the double jab. He's really pressing Muffet Man back, and Muffet Man's kind of struggling to deal with that at the moment. And the footwork as well from Trixie, you can constantly see him stepping on the outside of his opponent. And what that does is squares him up for the shots down the middle, and also takes away that lead hand from the rear hand from Muffet Man, which is really important in this fight, Reaper.
Yeah, you're spot on, Humble. I am seeing Trixie use a lot of that lead hook. He's kind of setting up the rest of his combinations with that lead hook. He'll dip into range, he'll throw the lead hook in the combination, and then he'll throw in the leg kick just like that. He's mixing up really well, and I think this is all to hide the bigger weapon later on in the fight. You know, he's working those legs. He wants to bring that block down. You know, Trixie's playing chess here with Muffet Man, and Muffet Man's maybe a step or two behind him, Doc.
It really does seem it. Moffat Man's legs are slowly beating down. He's trying to hunt for that head, but every time Moffat Man's looking to go for that head, Trixie's there looking for it as well. Like, you see us a lot of time in less technical fighters is that they only hunt for the legs and don't hunt for the head as well. But Trixie's doing both, and it's working so well in his favour.
Nice work right now from Trixie just to take back that centre of the octagon, and you can see the amount of damage he's done to the legs, as Doctor was just pointing out, but the head is starting to dwindle as well. But I've noticed Moffat Man starting to also mirror his opponent and use that double jab to press him back. It's just a case of if he doesn't get countered and kind of avoid that. But this has been a tough one for both guys at the moment, just because of that. But the blood is pissing out of Moffat Man's face at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Muffet Man, look, he's having a great showing of himself. He's kind of adapted into Trixie's style now, right? He's throwing out his double jab. He wants to find range. Some beautiful head movement there from the Muffet Man. He's throwing out his double jabs now. He wants his range. He's kind of getting himself now. It looks like the connection might be a little bit better between these two right now, with how the combinations are flowing, Doc.
Yeah, the combinations.
Commentator's course.
It's a good
It sucks because
fight,
it's the
though,
main
either
event.
way.
Yeah, it is. It sucks because it's the main event. But you can tell these guys are really trying to put it on. And it's kind of neither though these guys' fault. It's just a case of the connection, you know, when one of them's streaming, essentially. But it is very tough for these guys to fight at the moment. Hopefully this evens out so these can have a clean fight going forward, because it's been fantastic so far.
There's a beat trip there, very ended.
Beat trip.
40 seconds left in the first round, probably looking to do a bit of that body work. He's negated it for most of it. You got the left leg blinking, the right leg nearly blinking, the head held fairly low. Probably just wants to go to work on that body of Moffat Man.
Absolutely, Doc. It's not even a bad idea at this point, you know, if you're Trixie. We've been standing up for so long here. Let me take you down and just hold you here, as if it wasn't frustrating enough already with the lag. Now he's going to take him down, sit here and punch him in the stomach a few times, Humble.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a lot of people hoping for the I haven't seen this in a while. I thought he was going for the sweep right there. He didn't go for it. He just goes into guard, and maybe a bit of a mistake right there. Pressed the wrong button, essentially, from Trixie. But yeah, this is a tough one because, you know, Trixie's he's doing a good job of neutralising him in the round, 13-13 on significant strikes, but their ping is absolutely stopping these guys from kind of having a flowy contest at the moment and kind of letting their hands go and letting the combinations fly. But as I was saying, there's a lot of people that want to see Moffat Man lose, and you know, will be very excited and very happy at the moment that he's lost these 2 rounds going forward, Doc.
Yeah, the legs of Moffat Man are definitely something to not want to happen to you. The head help is a similar way. The body's slowly getting there. Trixie, on the other hand, looks good to go on all cylinders. The only major thing which is probably keeping Moffat in this fight is his cardio, which he's done a fantastic job of so far.
Yeah, both have done an amazing job of keeping their cardio high, you know. It's a 5-round fight. You got to have that technical aggression to know when to go and to know when to stop. And Humble, at the minute, you know, as we said, if it wasn't for the lag, God knows what we could be seeing from these two.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm still seeing great work from Trixie at the moment. Big
head
kick right
kick
there.
in slow motion.
Oh my days! I'm surprised Moffat Man didn't duck that with the amount of time he had to duck it. But he goes for the spinning elbow again, and this is a rough one, to say the least. But Moffat Man might be done right now, as Trixie's had enough. He wants to get him out of here, and this is exactly what he's trying to do in this third round, Doc.
Yeah, it's a lovely job by Trixie, just hoping to finally get it on. 3 minutes 40 left on the clock. Lead hook follows suit. And then we get a bit of a pause. A leg kick follows. A knee follows. Reaper take over.
Yes, they are here now. Trixie back on the back foot, pushing back again, and almost beautiful head kick there for the Muffin Man. So yeah, so Trixie's he's trying to with this leg, but he's gone back to his mindset of the first round. Land the combinations, get out of range, and get back in the range.
Big shot. Slow motion hook right there, and he's going for it again. He gets dropped, and Trixie's going to let it back up. What are you doing, Trixie?
What are you doing, Trixie? End the fight. You've been given the option. Do it. Man, oh man, evidently the champ wants to be a bit nice. Evidently lag has given him a bit of mercy in his heart. Maybe Moffat Man will be able to get the payback, but those legs are well and truly fucked, to put it lightly.
Well, I remember Trixie in the chat as well, I think he was defending who was Moffat Man's last opponent, was a Mighty D, and he was saying, I'm going to get him back for you, I'm going to teach him a lesson in this fight. So Trixie was adamant he was going to actually put a beating on Moffat Man after he beat up Mighty D. So maybe this is some payback. Trixie might be enjoying this.
He looks like he's enjoying it all right. He's winning the health battle. He's a tiny bit behind on stamina. It's not too bad though. He still has free reign to let go here in the third round, and this fight's getting close to being over. I think Trixie wants that flash. He wants that flash KO. He doesn't want any TKO here tonight, though.
No, it's understandable why he wasn't if he's looking for a payback against Matty D. He may get a leg TKO as he's going at it. Jab, straight, drops him in slow motion. He's against the cage. Trixie probably jumping on, looking to get any type of position he can, whether it's clinch or the top mount. We end up in clinch again in slow motion. 1 minute 30 left on the clock, Humble.
This has been disastrous from the connection from this one. Probably one of the craziest pings that we've seen so far. He was okay in the lobby, just going to note that out there as well before these guys, but he actually gets a rock right there. Trixie serves, can Moffat Man come forward? And Moffat Man cannot get any real offense as his head is blinking, his leg is blinking, and Trixie's going to try and get a leg finish if he keeps doing that.
Interesting.
It's incredibly hard.
Did Trixie feint a takedown there?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
That was beautiful, that was. I've never seen a
You haven't seen
Caliber
fight. Caliber has a weird obsession with faking a takedown and going straight into a flying knee like a nutcase. That leg is officially broke. It's even more concerning that you can't check it whilst you are in slow motion. 30 seconds left on the clock. Moffat Man trying to come back, but so far every shot Trixie's landing, it's landing at least to some damage.
Goes back to the legs. Trixie's probably going to try and get him out of there anytime soon. Moffat Man's got him hurt. He's still chasing down. Imagine.
Could you imagine?
He got blocked. Moffat Man is not out of this fight, even though he looks to be out of it. He's still in it with this speed and this ping. You got to be careful if you're Trixie. And we talk about playing with your food. I don't know if Trixie's intention.
5 knocked down, 3 leg health events, and 2 stuns. Trixie's looking more and more dominant as it goes on. If Moffat Man makes it to a decision, I'll be massively surprised. But by the looks of it, Trixie's kind of hunting for the legs on this lag. Connection issues, whichever one it is.
Yeah, whatever it is at the moment. But imagine playing with your food and then nearly getting finished to be Warren. We couldn't see a rematch. We just couldn't. There's just no way this guy. I don't know if it's the connection, the ping, whatever it is, just isn't quite working out. I don't know if it's just the day. Sometimes someone's internet's not quite working up or whatever it is. But they're trying their best out there and they're giving us a good fight regardless. As Trixie comes out, rocks his leg, goes to the head. He's going to try and finish his opponent right now. Goes back to the leg, and this is going to set up another leg kick. Reaper.
Oh, absolutely, you're spot on, Humble here, and Doc as well. You're spot on as well. It clearly seems to be attack the legs. And I don't know if you guys noticed there when Moffat Man went back to his corner, but the blood stripping from his face, he had a head like a well-chewed toffee, you know. So he's been beat up over the course of 4 rounds here, Doc.
Oh.
He really has. The overhand coming out. Maybe he's hoping for a lummy L. The jab of Trixie seems to be trying to get him to block high to then go to that leg kick.
Oh. The punishment begins. This is a torture session right now. This is not a fight. This is a Trixie trying to put a statement on.
I feel like someone has pissed in his Cheerios or something, because evidently he's not very cheery and he wants Moffat Man to suffer.
Yeah, and suffer he is at the moment, but he's having opportunities though, and that's what it comes with. It looks like he's about to get finished, but Moffat Man's going to try and hang on. He gets a kick finish. Probably the first one in a title fight we've ever seen. And Trixie reigns supreme with the Primetime Xbox belt and comes out on top, and he will be defending his belt next week in the Grand Prix, the Xbox Grand Prix, Doc. Fantastic performance for Trixie regardless of the lag.
Trixie came out there and adjusted so well. That is literally the mark of a true champion. No matter what happens to fight, he's going to find a way to win, and that is how you know you've got one hell of a champion to end the season. As Humble said, we have a GP next week. We have Xbox on Saturday, followed by the Sunday with the PS1. Both the championships are up for grabs. Well, that being said, though, I think that's us all done. We got the card. It has been great from top to bottom.
Yep, and we've got a new season coming next week, Doc, as well, which is going to be fantastic with some new systems that's coming in. If you do want to join Primetime, click the link in the chat right now. But from us, do join us next week. Doc, the dates of the Grand Prix next week is Saturday and Sunday that we're doing.
Saturday the 5th of February, as well as the 6th of February the following day, which is a Sunday, 8:30 ES, 8:30 GMT, 3:30 Eastern.
And Reaper's debut as well today on Primetime. So well done to Reaper. Absolutely killing his first pay-per-view Primetime that he's done. An absolutely fantastic addition to the Primetime community. But thank you so much for all the community for joining us. It's been amazing. And for myself, I'm out. And thank you for entertaining us. And Doc,
stick around for the raid at the end. That is us done for the night. Have a good night. Adios.